Number 5 on the drive for 5 would be a bump in the road for the Patriots. However, Wayne Hills had other ideas as they were able to slay the Golden Knights and quiet the critics, thanks to stingy run defense and clutch fourth quarter interceptions. Stop number 6 is Pascack Valley, as the Patriots look to hunt down the Indians for their 34th straight win. Pascack Valley, Wayne Hills, now!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Patriot Stadium on a breezy October Friday night, where the undefeated Wayne Hills Patriots, standing at 5-0, take on the 3-2 Pascack Valley Indians. I'm Andrew Gayo, alongside me, David Suntup and Brian Dubow. Gentlemen, Patriots are 5-0. They're coming in off a win over Japan. They did things very well that game. What are your keys to today's game for a victory to be in favor of the Patriots?
Here are my 3 keys for the Wayne Hills Patriots tonight against the Pascack Valley Indians. 1, stop the run. I know Matt Gray is out with an injury, but Kevin Rems had 3 rushing touchdowns against Bergenfield last week. They really need to slow down the run. Also, Donald Wyzak loves to scramble in the pocket. They need to contain him in the pocket. My second key, put pressure on Wyzak. Blitz him from all angles. Use Mike Roman, Tim Waller, DeSico, and DeDerno to blitz Wyzak. Also, maybe put Carlton Morris in some blitzing situations. The defensive line did a great job last week against Kyle Jansen. Jansen had no time in the pocket to throw the ball at all. And then my third key, offensive outbursts for the Patriots. They've only scored 38 points over the last 2 weeks. They're ready for an outburst. Pascack Valley, they've had a tough time stopping the run. Look for big games at the Seco and Morrison tonight, because the last 2 weeks they've only combined for 1 rushing touchdown.
My first key is going to have to be pounding the ball into the defensive line. Pascack Valley has a pretty bad defense. Wayne Hills has great running backs, Dan DeSico, Carlton Morrison, and most of their touchdowns are rushing touchdowns. They break tackles and get the job done, plus it helps running out the clock for an easy win. My second key is going to have to be shutting down the run early on in the game. You don't want Pascack Valley to get any momentum, and as Dave said, their Matt Gray is out with an injury, but they still have a decent running game. My third key is going to have to be keep penalties to a minimum. Penalties add up, and you don't want to give Pascack Valley any points that they might not get without those extra yards.
Gentlemen, great points there. My points, basically similar to theirs. My first point has to be getting to Donald Wyzak's head. I mean, he's a scrambler out there. If they get into his head early, he's going to be flustered and he's going to make mistakes. Second key to the game is mix up the plays on offense. We saw last week against Jamie Rowe and Old Japan on the Patriots' offensive side of the ball. They mixed up the plays on O. By the end of the game, Old Japan couldn't even move. They couldn't breathe. You got to do that. And finally, control the clock. The time of possession is so key in high school football. Last week, the Patriots almost owned the whole clock on the offensive side of the ball during the game against Old Japan. They owned the clock this time. Easy victory for the Patriots. Guys, this Pascack Valley team is hurt. Matt Gray, their best player, he's hurt. He's out for this week. Donald Wyzak, he's beaten up. Chris Yu, he's hurt too. What does this team have to do, Pascack Valley, to overcome the adversity to possibly hang with the Patriots? Because when you're hurt against them, not at full strength, you're at a complete disadvantage.
Well, the offensive line really has to step up for the Indians because they're a run-heavy team. And this Wayne Hills defense is one of the stingiest against stopping the run. Just ask Jamie Rowe, because he only had 55 yards on 17 carries last week. So if Pascack Valley wants any chance, they really need to run the ball. The offensive line has to do a nice job protecting Wyzak, because if Wyzak is not protected at all, it's going to be a rough night for him. And also, they need to tackle well. If DeSico and Morrison are out in the open field, they need to limit their yardage.
Personally, I think they have to have a good defense. They have to watch out for the coverage on Jeremiah Kale, or he'll make them pay. Also, they'll have to play up a little bit because Carlton Morrison and Danny Seagull, obviously, they're a big component to this Wayne Hills offense, and they need to be contained.
Guys, the last time these two teams played was back in 2003 when me and David were sitting in 8th grade and little Brian here was in 6th grade. It's been a while. These two teams back in the day, they played, who do you think won? Wayne Hills, obviously. They shut them down on defense and they put up points on offense. And we're going to take a look at what happened in that game back in 2003 in a moment. Stay tuned. The last time these two teams met, back in 2003, again back then, it was all Patriots. Chaz Lynn gets the toss here from Warzone, gets a great block by Ryan Mink, runs down the sideline to get to the goal line for the Patriots. Defense today was great for the Patriots, giving up 3 points. Great tackle there by Ryan Green and Joji and Papa for a loss. Again here, Joji and Papa running up the middle, putting pressure on the quarterback, and it was a hard day for the Indians. Even on specials, it was bad. Pete DeSico was in there for the block punt. Ryan Green recovers in the end zone for a touchdown. It's all Patriots in all facets of the game. Quarterback was rushed out here by DeSico, and he was forced a fumble now. Dom Domicoli recovered it for the Patriots on offense. It was tough on offense for the Indians all day. Defensive stops left and right by the Patriots, stuffing them at the line of scrimmage, pushing them back for losses. As you see, it continues here. On the offensive side, Warzel drops back, throws a deep bomb down the right side, a little juggling going on, but Andrew Bucci comes down with it eventually for the catch for the Patriots. And once again, it was the man, Chaz Lynn. Lynn had a great senior year despite being injured, runs it down the field for a 55-yard touchdown untouched. Another score for the Patriots. For the 2-point conversion to give the Patriots a 14-point lead, Warzel takes it to the left side, cuts it back up the middle for the 2 points. And again on the offense for the Patriots. Warzel throws it right up the middle there to Udio Bilos for a first down and a big gain. Next play, what do you think? Chaz Lynn. Lynn takes it down the left sideline, trying to find a move. Nobody touches him. Goes down the field into the end zone. Another touchdown for Chaz. And then finally, for the Patriots, the ender on defense. Joji and Papa coming up the middle, putting him down for a loss. And that was it, 21-3, Wayne Hills. Well, we know what happened in 2003. I guess we just have to wait for what's going to happen in 2007. In a moment, we'll have the kickoff. Wayne Hills versus Pascack Valley next.
Monahan turns around, takes a quick peek at the clock, hands it up the middle to Lynn, who gets outside. Chaz Lynn, it's a foot race. He's at the 40, to the 30. Lynn still on the feet, and he's in. Touchdown, Wayne Hills.
Look at the clock, Lou. It reads triple zeros as Chaz Lynn plays his own version of Beat the Clock. He had to go one place, and that was into the end zone, because if he was tackled, the half was over. Chaz Lynn beats the clock.
Welcome back to Patriot Stadium as we are here ready to talk to our fourth man of our broadcast team, Aaron Pascack. Aaron, take it away.
Thank you, guys. It's quite a cold day down here, and we've got a great game on our hands. So we're going to start out with my points to the game. The Passaic Valley defense came into the season as one of the strongest defenses in the NBIL. They were headed up with Chris Yu on the defensive line. Their linebackers, Kevin Rems and Sean Humphrey, manning that core. And their strong safety / quarterback, double starter Dom Wycheck, manning the secondary. But Chris Yu is out with a broken hand, so watch for the Patriots running backs to run all over this weak Passaic Valley defensive line. The second point I'd like to make, will the Jerry Show continue? That's right, folks. Jeremiah Kale was the Tri-State Player of the Week last week against Oldspan High School with 3 picks and a touchdown on offense. Let's see if he can continue it against Passaic Valley secondary. The last point I'd like to make, Matt Gray, the Passaic Valley running back, was the focal point of their offense this year until he got injured with a hip flexor injury. He is out probably for the rest of the year unless Passaic Valley makes the playoffs, in which case he might come back. But he's out, so it's going to be a hard time for Passaic Valley to get anything going against this strong Patriots defense, guys. My score prediction, 28-0 Wayne Hills. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Aaron. As we're going to take a look at last week against Old Japan, where the Patriots won 24-7, and there was a cold one at Old Japan where the Patriots came out, and it was unbelievable. As we have Mike G and Papa rolled out to the right option play. They were running it all day and night here at Old Japan Northern Valley High School. DeSico took it up the side, face Max there, but he get no call. Denver's kicked the 36-yard field goal, which ultimately put them up 3-0 to put them up 3-0. Great defense by the Patriots all night as they sacked Kyle Jansen there. Kyle Jansen had 4 interceptions. Giampapa threw down the field there to Hannenberg. Gets up the field for a first down. Another play here from Giampapa to put them up 10-0, actually, there to Jeremiah Kale. So now we can set up this play, which was a play-action fake to Jeremiah Kale into the end zone, 10-0, the Wayne Hills Patriots. Back on defense, the Patriots were just playing 3D all night. Great hit there by Carlton Marson as the Patriots continued the stellar D. Jansen threw it down the field, but who was there? Number 2, the Tri-State Player of the Week, Jeremiah Kale, there for the interception. 1 of 3 he had on the day. Giampapa threw it deep down the field. Great catch there. Acrobatics by Brian Ogden. Next series, Giampapa up the middle. Another score for the Patriots. We saw that pick before. Let's take a look again. Jeremiah Kale, same pick, same play. Jansen, what's the story? Another pick by Jeremiah Kale. It was all night for Mr. Kale. Unbelievable performance by the young man. And pressure, Kyle Jansen had nowhere to run, nowhere to throw. Great defense there by Tim Waller, Paul Drake, and Ryan DiDerno. Again, more pressure. Tip drill there. Jeremiah Kale intercepted it, takes it down the field. Unbelievable night for Mr. Kale. G-Poop, big first down conversion there to number 31, Joseph Volpe. And it would set up Giampapa, the run to Marson to ultimately get the first down and control the clock. And that would only set up for this play, the killer, the handoff to Danny DeSico to run down the sideline into the end zone to put him up 24-7. The winner, the capper, Wayne Hills won 24-7. Guys, thoughts on last week's performance?
Well, Wayne Hills really did a great job stopping Jamie Rowe because once he couldn't get it going, Wayne Hills really forced Kyle Jansen to beat them, and Jansen couldn't live up to the task because he threw 4 interceptions, he overthrew a lot of receivers, and he made a lot of poor decisions, and Jeremiah Kale and Carlton Marson really made him pay.
As you saw, Jeremiah Kale just had a phenomenal game. He had various picks, and he had great runs, he had great catches. He was just a great game all around. I think Jeremiah Kale is going to come back this week and do the same exact thing. So it should be pretty much a repeat of last week.
Guys, MSG, we have Mike Quick. We all know he's the man. David knows him very personally, actually. Let's take a look at his top 10 in New Jersey. As you see here, the Tri-State, actually. Don Bosco Prep, excuse me, at number 1. St. Peter's Prep like Will the Thrill Hill at number 2. Your Wayne Hills Patriots at number 3. You see Bergen Catholic, Immaculata in there. St. Joe's of Montvale. Guys, all these New Jersey teams, Middletown South. What does this say about New Jersey football, guys?
Well, it's very competitive, especially at the private school level. But it's really impressive that Wayne Hills is so high in the top 10 in the tri-state area for a public school. It just shows really the great job that Coach Olson has done year in, year out, and the type of talent that comes through this Wayne Hills program. But also, Middletown South, number 10, they had a great running back in Nosha Marino 2 years ago. Now he's playing for the University of Georgia. So they also have a powerhouse down there in Central Jersey.
I think it just speaks for themselves. I mean, New Jersey has great schools with great football teams and pretty good compared to other states. And I mean, Wayne Hills, number 3, just great 5-0, hopefully 6-0 tonight.
Guys, this game, right now, we know Matt Gray's not playing. Chris Hughes not playing. Pascack Valley's in trouble. How much pressure is on Donald Wisex in tonight's game?
Oh, there's a ton of pressure on him. Besides the fact that they don't have Matt Gray, their best offensive player, they're missing 2 players on their offensive line. One of them is Chris Yu, and he's out for another week. So Wisex won't have as much time in the pocket, and he'll have to maneuver a little bit in the pocket and get creative in order to find open receivers and avoid the huge pass rush by the Patriots.
Pascack Valley's really going to have to step it up. Their backups are going to have to do great, which their running game's been pretty impressive so far considering Matt Gray's out and he's a phenomenal player. But they probably won't be enough to come up against our Wayne Hills Patriots.
Danny DeSico, guys, really last week, he had both running backs had a tough first half to begin with because Old Japan came out fired up, but at the end, they wore him down. Danny had the last touchdown play, Guys, did you think that Danny was going to score on that play? Do you think they were just going for the first down? He ran 50 yards down the field.
Well, in that situation, Oltapan still had 2 other timeouts left, so they didn't want to take a knee and possibly let Oltapan get the ball back. But Dave DeSico just did a great job on that rush, breaking tackles in the secondary, and he was just down the field. And he didn't get to the end zone against Mawa, and he went 3+ quarters without getting a touchdown against Oltapan, so you know he wants to get into the end zone.
Personally, I think the main purpose of that play was to run out the clock and just end the game with Wayne Hills getting a victory. And it just happens that he broke the tackle, as Dave said, and got the touchdown. So that's pretty much all that happened.
Thank you, guys. And we're going to send it to Mr. Ernie Mezzi for tonight's starting lineups.
Rotolo, number 21. At split end, number 8. Jim Greavy, number 8. At right tackle, number 70, Chad Valley, number 70. At right guard, number 71, Colin Schmidt, number 71. At center, number 54, Billy Everett, number 54. At left guard, number 67, Anthony Celentano, number 67. At left tackle, number 78, Kyle Chapman, number 78. At tight end, number 80, Pat Churchirillo, number 80. At fullback, number 45, Josh Kim, number 45. At tailback, number 25, Kevin Rems, number 25. And at quarterback, number 16, Don Wiesek, number 16. And for the home team Patriots, here is their starting offensive lineup. At wide receiver, number 2, Jeremiah Kale, number 2. At tight end, number 10, Kyle Hannenberg, number 10. At tackle, number 73, Joe Pogorelic, number 73. At guard, number 59, Paul Drake, number 59. At center, number 79, Zach Doyes, number 79. At guard, number 69, Bowen Jones, number 69. At tackle, number 64, Pat Mitchell, number 64. At wide receiver, number 5, Brian Ogden, number 5. At wide receiver, number 31, Joe Volpe, number 31. At quarterback, number 1, Mike Giampapa, number 1. At running back, number 25, Carlton Morrison, number 25. And at running back, number 20, Dan DeSico, number 20. And now let's welcome the entire Wayne Hills Patriot squad. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you now please rise. This evening, the Star-Spangled Banner will be performed by the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band. and their special guests from Schuyler Colfax and Anthony Wayne Middle Schools.
Welcome back, gentlemen. After the lineups, we are ready to go underway here at Patriot Stadium. Guys, this week, it's Pascack Valley, Wayne Hills. Mike G and Papa, unfortunately, you couldn't see one-on-one this week because there was technical difficulties, but what he brought up was that they're just going to have to keep on making the big play. They're going to have to keep on wearing down these defenses in order to keep up, in order to wear them down, and in order to win games. Guys, this is true to the fact where he could not have said it better than myself.
Oh, definitely. Wayne Hills has to be very consistent on offense. They have to move the ball, be very proficient. They had a couple of drives that came up short last week. They didn't come up big in some third down situations. They have to keep on moving the chains, really control the clock, run the ball better. G and Papa started off really well this season. Last week he had a good week. He was 9 for 12 for 68 yards and a touchdown. But against Mile and Rampo, he wasn't as accurate as he was in previous weeks. So he definitely wants to work on his accuracy and be as proficient as he was in the first 2 games.
As I said before, one of my key points to victory, they definitely have to pound the ball into the defensive line. Not only does it waste out the clock, but they're going to get those extra points. They're going to get extra yards first down, which will ultimately tire out the defense, as Andrew said in one-on-one, is a very key factor in this game.
Oh, guys, I mean, there's no question about it that they wear them down. They're good. They're beat up to the point, Pascack Valley, where, I mean, when you have 3 of your best players hurt, you're really going to struggle, Dave.
You're definitely going to struggle when you have 3 of your top players hurt. But when you're playing the 3rd best team in the tri-state area, you're definitely going to have a lot of problems. Because when you're playing Wayne Hills, you have to be healthy, you need to be confident, and you need to have a game plan coming in. And Pascack Valley doesn't really have too many of those things right now.
Dave just really said it all. I mean, even if they had all their starters, they still would have trouble going up against these Patriots. But without them, it's going to make it 10 times harder, and their backup doesn't have that much experience, but they're really going to have to step it up against this Patriot.
Guys, on Patriots side, injuries is a problem too. Nico Stevens is hurt. Their biggest lineman, they're injured. But these guys on the line really last week, they showed that they can step up and they can make the big play. How are they going to do it this week, especially the defensive line that pressured Donald Wyzak to prove that this was not a fluke last week?
Well, you have to blitz from the outside, and that's where Paul Drake and Kyle Hannenberg come into play. Paul Drake had 2 sacks last week on Kyle Jansen. They had to do a great job against these tackles, and Drake went up against Mike Hurley last week, who's one of the top tackles in the state of New Jersey. So Drake will definitely be ready for this week, and then look for maybe Carlton Morrison to blitz from the outside.
And look at this, guys. Pascack Valley is kicking off. We haven't seen this since, I think,
Passaic Valley.
Pascack, yeah, really. It's been a while.
Last year.
Taken there by Carlton Morrison up the field, trying to find a move or two. He gets tackled there by number 17, John Soper. And let's take a look at the Patriots offense.
Pat Mitchell, 64, guard.
Owen Jones, 69, guard.
Zach Doyes, number 79, center. Joe Pogorelic, number 73, offensive tackle.
Kyle Hannenberg, number 10, tight end. Mike Giapapa, number 1, quarterback.
Carlton Morrison, 25, running back.
Dan DeSico, 20, running back.
Jeremiah Kale, number 2, wide receiver. Brian Ogden, number 5, wide receiver.
toss there to DeSico, runs down the sideline, he steps out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So DeSico gets a gain of about 5 yards where they will take over at the 35.
Nice job by DeSico because he was deep in his backfield. Did a good job bouncing the ball out to the outside and getting about 2 yards on the play, 2 to 3 yards on the play.
So now the Patriots open up 2nd and 6, actually. Scoreboard's been giving me trouble since my sophomore year, Dave. They really have not been able to figure out these problems.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they haven't fixed the score. We had the same problems for the last few years. Let's hope they fix it soon.
Giampapa tossed to the left side to DeSico, runs to his left, trying to get a block. Good block there by Marson, runs down the left side, and he's running, going spaces. DeSico takes it to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown, Wayne Hills, and oh my goodness, momentum's on their side already. Dane DeSico there on the 60-yard run. Patriots lead 6-0.
This just shows that the Patriots obviously don't take Pascack Valley seriously. They ran the same exact play to the same exact person, just to the other side, and it resulted in a touchdown. Just a phenomenal run by Dan DeSico.
Great job by Dan DeSico, bouncing it to the outside. Then Carlton Marson led a humongous block for DeSico, paving the way for DeSico's 66-yard touchdown. And as I said before in the pregame,
the Divers extra point is good. So now the Patriots 7-0 lead. Dave, you couldn't ask for more.
definitely great start for Wayne Hills. It only took them 2 plays to get the ball into the end zone. As I said before in the pregame, Pascack Valley's had a lot of problems tackling in the open field. And right there, DeSico had a great block from Marson, and then he was gone because Pascack Valley couldn't catch up to him.
Guys, I have to say, Divers is definitely impressing me with his kick. For a sophomore high school kicker, I mean, last week he had that 36-yard field goal. That's definitely impressive. It impressed me, at least.
Great job there by the line, too. You saw that block by Carlton Marson. Really just sprung it for DeSico as he ran outside. Nobody could catch up to him. He was untouched. It was kind of like those Chaz Lynn highlights we saw in the pregame.
Getting back to what you're saying about Tim Divers, Brian. Divers 25 for 26 on extra points now. That's just phenomenal, guys.
So Kale to kick for the Patriots. Deep to receive for Pascack Valley is number 23, I believe, Ryan Horrigan. And the other number I cannot tell at the moment. I believe number 25, Kevin Rems. Rems takes it at his own 10-yard line, runs up the field, gets tripped up there, tackled there by Ryan DiDerno. And now we're going to take a look at the defense for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
Kyle Hannenberg, number 10, defensive end.
Bowen Jones, number 69, D tackle.
Ryan Salerno, number 55, D tackle.
Paul Drake, number 59, DN. Mike Roman, number 44, outside linebacker.
Tim Waller, number 4, middle linebacker.
Ryan DiDerno, number 45, middle linebacker.
Dan DeSico, number 20, outside linebacker.
Jeremiah Kale, number 2, defensive back.
Ronnie Dries, number 23, D-back.
Carlton Marson, 25, DB.
Now, as the first play was incomplete, intended for number 21, Cliff Rotolo, so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Indians.
Not a bad pass there by Donald Wiesek as he led his receiver really deep down the right sideline. So Wiesek has a good arm as Ronnie Dries was beat on that play, but the throw was out of bounds. So Wiesek really needs to be more accurate.
Ronnie really looked out on that play. It could have ended up drastically, for the Patriots defense, but he lucked out.
Wiesek hands it off there, up the middle. It's going to be stuffed by a host of Patriots. So now it will be 3rd down for Pascack Valley.
Pascack Valley has to realize that after last week, if Jamie Rowe can't run through the interior of this Wayne Hills defensive line, then no one can. Kevin Rems has to bounce it out to the outside and hope that his wide receivers could block and open up some holes.
So now 3rd and 12 for the Indians, and this is not what they wanted, Dave. They open up down 7-0 early, and then all of a sudden it's 3rd and 12. They can't get anything going on offense. Let's see here if they can get themselves out of their own funk that they put themselves into. Wiesek I formation, 2 wide receivers. Rems goes in motion. Hand off there to Rems on the end around, and he's going to be stuffed there by Mike Roman, so he'll bring up a 4th down, and the punting unit will come on the field for the Indians.
Definitely not the start that Pascack Valley wanted. They just gave up their 3 downs of offense, and they gave up a touchdown on defense. It's not looking good so far for Pascack Valley against these Patriots.
Well, giving up the long touchdown run by Dan DeSico is bad enough, but coming out here on offense and failing to move the ball is not what Pascack Valley wanted. And now Pascack Valley, pretty deep in their own territory. Now Wayne Hills is looking at a pretty short field here, especially with DeSico and Morrison set to return the punt.
Punt there. Nice one down the sideline. It'll go out of bounds at about the Patriots. They'll be at the 50-yard line, so the Patriots get great field position on their second offensive series of the game.
Really nice precision punting there by Wezek. You never want to kick the ball to DeSico and Morrison because they're very lethal returning punts, but besides that, the blocking that they get is tremendous. So they usually have a lot of holes to run through on these returns, and on a short kick like that, if the ball's in their hands, they could probably take it to the end zone for a touchdown.
Wezek, very good strategy there to put his team in a better position, because if you punt that ball to DeSico or Morrison, it's dead man walking, basically. So now the Patriots will line up at the 50-yard line, 49 actually. Giampapa with 2 wide receivers. Jipu, play action fake, and there's going to be a flag. There was movement on the line. I believe it could be a false start.
As Brian said, in his 3 keys to victory for Wayne Hills, limit the penalties, and here's an early penalty for the Wayne Hills Patriots on their second offensive drive.
So it'll be a false start against the Patriots, so that'll push it back to 1st and 15. And as Brian said in the pregame, penalties are unknown now.
Guess I have good predictions.
Yeah, well, I guess you do. So now we'll bring up 1st and 15 from the 46-yard line. Patriots lead 7-0 here early in the first quarter. I'm Andrew Gayo, David Suntup, Brian Dubow. Giampapa, play action fake, rolls to his right, runs back to his left, trying to find it, room, and he's going to be sacked for a big loss down to about the 30-yard line. So now the Patriots will have a big hole on 2nd down.
Mike Giampapa should have tried to get rid of the ball, but I do understand that he didn't want to try to throw a pick, make a stupid pass, and cause a turnover. But still, if he had the chance, he should have tried to get it out rather than that huge sack and loss.
Giampapa definitely should have tried to get rid of that ball somehow, or he should have taken the sack where it would have been a lesser loss for the Patriots. But I believe if you're out of the pocket, you're allowed to throw the ball out of bounds without being penalized for intentional grounding. As Parker Weston has just walked in, I was not expecting him here tonight.
The legend.
But Parker Weston, a legendary broadcaster for us last season, football, all the other sports. Now at Susquehanna University.
2nd in a century for the Patriots. Giampapa gets brushed out to his left, and he's going to be sacked for even more of a loss. And guys, this defense that was supposed to be non-existent, it's existent.
This is a great way to bounce back from that touchdown and that turnover. Well, not turnover, but punt. And that's a great job. They're just going to have to hope for something big play, pass down the field.
Well, Mike Giampapa, I believe he was not sacked the first couple games. And now last week, I believe he was sacked once or twice. And here in the early going, he's been sacked twice on 2 consecutive plays.
Not exactly sure. I mean, it was damp. The field is damp because it has been raining. So maybe that has an effect on the play. I don't know. Jipu handed off there, and it's going to be stuffed at about the line. Carlton Marston goes nowhere with it. So the Patriots are going to have to punt. And after that first touchdown series, this is not what you like to see.
This is definitely not what they wanted. They're going to have to punt here. Plus, when they get the punt, it'll probably get only about past the 1st down where they were supposed to be. Not a great start after that touchdown.
Pascack Valley is clearly sending a message, and that message is we are here to play this game. After giving up the long touchdown to DeSico and going 3-9 on their first offensive drive, they had a very nice defensive stand against the Patriots.
DeSico's punt lands at about the 50 and rolls all the way to the 44-yard line. So good punt there by DeSico to overcome the deficit by the Patriots offense. As you see, the faithful of the Pascack Valley Indians, guys, Hillsdale, New Jersey, it's not 5 minutes away. It's more like a half hour. It's a long trip, Dave.
Well, it's definitely a long trip from Pascack Valley. We actually passed Pascack Valley on the way to Otapaine last week in the wagon where Andrew was driving. But I guess maybe some of the Hillsdale faithful is not too optimistic for their Indians' chances tonight.
Wezek to start off the offense for the Indians. Number 8 goes in motion for the Pascack Valley. Weezek's being rushed by Bowen Jones. Good pursuit there. The pass is intercepted by Carlton Marson. His second in 2 weeks, guy. Carlton Marson stepping up his game on defense. And look at this, the Patriots have the ball once again.
Carlton Marson coming up big on defense once again for the Wayne Hills Patriots. He just took the ball out of the wide receiver's hand and fell to the ground. Great job by Carlton Marson reading Weezek's eyes. And as you said in the pregame, Andrew, Wayne Hills really has to get into Weezek's head, and maybe this will definitely really shatter his confidence.
Jipu, the Seco goes in motion. Play action fake, throws it. And that is going to be looking for a call on the field. Incomplete, as it looked like Weezek could have intercepted it, but it fell out of his hands.
So it was definitely a risky call.
Oh, definitely a risky call on first down, but that could have been trouble there, Dave, for the Patriots.
Well, Mike Jim Hopper was pressured once again from the right side. So Pat Mitchell and Bowen Jones really need to do a better job protecting Jim Papa on the right side of the line.
Seco gets a good block there by Bowen Jones, runs up the field, gets to about the 36-yard line. Good gain there by the Seco. That will bring up third down for Wayne Hills.
So a third and short situation for the Patriots, and the Patriots are pretty lucky to still have the ball on this drive because that pass, I thought it was originally picked off by Weezek, but a great job there by Wayne Hills to wrestle the ball out of his hands to force an incomplete pass.
So now I'll bring up 3rd and 3 for the Patriots. If they can get a first down here and score, really will hurt Pascack Valley's chances of coming back because we all know once the Patriots bury teams early, it's really hard for them to come back. GM Papa, eye set, hand off to the Seco right up the gut, runs up the middle, breaks a tackle, spins off another guy, and he's tackled there by number 11, Chris Hart, the sophomore. So now the Patriots will start up a new series of downs, and it will be 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line.
As you saw there, Danny DeSico just exploded out of the hole, and he broke tackles, he keeps those legs pumping, and he got the first down, which definitely helped the Patriots on that poor last drive.
Great job by the middle of this offensive line for the Wayne Hills Patriots. Drake, Doyes, and Jones opening up a huge hole for DeSico as he bursts right through the middle of the line.
Hand off there to Marson, and the ball is fumbled. And looks like Pascack Valley hops on top of it, so now that's where they will take over. Aaron Ploshnik's got something for us, guys. And Aaron, what do you got? Never mind, Aaron. I guess he forgot what he wanted to say. I don't know. I don't know what happens down there.
Before last week, Carlton Marson only had 1 fumble in his high school career, I think at the varsity level, and he recovered that fumble. Now, the last 2 weeks, he's lost 1 fumble in each game.
So Pascack Valley will take over at the 28-yard line. Good offensive drive there by the Patriots, stopped by a fumble. Hand off there, up the middle to number 25, Kevin Rems, for a little bit of a gain. Aaron Plastic's got something for us. Aaron, take it away.
And the play to Carlton's interception works like this. Basically what happened, Passaic Valley called a counter pass play to the left side, and the Patriots countered with a play called 40 Brown. Carlton jumped the route, got a nice spot on the ball, and ripped the ball away from the wide receiver. It was a great play by the Patriots. Unfortunately, they couldn't capitalize with the fumble. But the Patriots are reading the Passaic Valley offense well. Back up to you guys.
Weezek will take over at the 29-yard line. 3 wide receiver set for Pascack Valley. Weezek handed off there to Rems, and it'll be taken up to about the for a 2-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd down now for Pascack Valley Indians.
Well, now Donald Weezek really needs to work out something with his wide receivers and get a long completion here because Wayne Hills is doing a nice job containing Kevin Rems. Rems had 3 touchdowns against Bergenfield last week, but he's not finding the holes in the interior of this Wayne Hills defensive line. So now Weezek really needs to throw the deep ball and hope for a completion here.
Pascack Valley will have a 3rd and 8 from the 30-yard line. Scoreboard actually is right this time. I'm shocked. 4:12 remaining here in the first quarter. Weezek sends number 9, Jimmy Bueller, in motion. Weezek rolls out to his right, trying to find someone down the field, throws it up the field, and it's going to be knocked down there by Carlton Marston. Good job there by Carlton to have a deflection. Now bring up 4th down for the Indians.
Both quarterbacks, Mike Giapapa and on the Pascack Valley side, they need to get comfortable in the pocket under this pressure. As you saw there, Kyle Hannenberg bringing the pressure. They have to get comfortable, make good passes, and not do anything stupid. That could have been easily picked off again.
Nice job there by Kyle Hannenberg, rushing from the outside, forcing Wiesek out of the pocket as Wiesek made a very dangerous throw as that pass could have been picked off by Carlton Marston for a second interception of the night.
Wiesek to punt. Kicks it up the field right to DeSico. Takes it at the 38-yard line. DeSico runs up the field trying to find a block. Runs to the left side. Spins off a guy. Goes out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. Another excellent return there by DeSico. Such a great field position for Mike Giapapa and the Patriots offense.
I'm shocked that Wiesek didn't punt it out of bounds for the second time in a row. I don't know why you kick it to Dan DeSico. Dan DeSico, the stats speak for themselves. Last year, I believe he had at least 3 or 4 returns for a touchdown. But a nice job there on special teams by Pascack Valley, containing DeSico. As DeSico had a couple holes through the left side, but the Pascack Valley Indians were able to get over to the left side of the field and stop DeSico. As another penalty on the Patriots on the return. As the Patriots will be backed up to their 45-yard line.
So now another penalty, Dave. I mean, this is very
might be a block in the
uncharacteristic.
back. I'm not sure.
It's very uncharacteristic, as you rarely see this. So 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line. Toss there to DeSico. Runs to the right side. Breaks a tackle and keeps running. Gets to about the 49-yard line. Guys, Danny just gets hit and he keeps moving. I don't know how he does it.
Well, he has great leg strength, and he really does a nice job keeping his feet moving, great upper body strength, and he really brings these tacklers for an extra 2 to 3 yards on every rush. But Coach Olson is showing everyone that DeSico's going to get the ball a lot tonight. He's definitely going to get probably close to 15 to 20 carries, and he's going to make these Pascack Valley defenders bring them down.
2nd and 5 now for the Patriots. Gianpapa, handoff there to DeSico. And he's going to be stopped short of the 50-yard line. Tackle there by number 15, James Conroy. So now 3rd down comes up for the Patriots.
Although that play wasn't as successful as they would like, Dan DeSico, he's still doing a great job tonight. As Dave said, he keeps those legs turned. It seems that he bounces off these tacklers, and I'm just amazed by the tackles he bounces off of, although that play wasn't as most successful as they would like.
If you're going to tackle Dan DeSico, you have to tackle him by the legs. He's just too strong if you try to tackle him by the shoulders, and he'll easily break out of that tackle. Kevin Rams did a nice job on that play, tackling DeSico, and now Wayne Hills is in a 3rd and 6 situation.
Gianpapa, DeSico goes in motion to the left side. Chipu drops back to pass. Gets pressure there, and he's going to be sacked. Sacked by number 75, Mike Baba. It's number 25, Kevin Rems. So now it'll be a 4th down, and the punting unit will come on as the offensive line is struggling, Dave.
Kevin Rems making his presence known on defense. First, the tackle on DeSico, and now Mike Gianpapa being sacked for the 3rd time tonight. The Patriots did make a change on the offensive line. Pat Mitchell now at right tackle, and Joe Pogorelic at left tackle. Maybe that has something to do with why the offensive line has not been as good as it has been in past weeks.
High snap there. DeSico to punt. Kicks it to about the 26-yard line. And number 13 is going to be tackled there by Brian Ogden. Great coverage there by Ogden. So now it'll bring up Pascack Valley's offensive series.
Brian did a great job getting down the field. He thought that he would call a fair catch, but stupidly he didn't. And that hit could have been critical. It could have caused a fumble, but it didn't.
That's the type of special teams player that Wally World loves. Brian Ogden hustling down the field and tackling the return man for the Pascack Valley Indians. No return on the play for the Indians, as the Indians are buried in their own territory at the 22-yard line. If the Wayne Hills defense can continue to play well, Wayne Hills will have another short field.
Wiesek will take over at the 23-yard line. 2 wide receivers set. Handoff there to Rems up the middle. He's going to be tackled there for about a gain of 3 yards. So now it will be 2nd and 7 for the Indians.
It's just not working for Pascack Valley trying to run the ball through this Wayne Hills offensive line, because they've really stepped up to the task the last 2 weeks, as Bowen Jones making another tackle for the Patriots. Jones has just been outstanding the last 3 weeks for the Patriots. But it'll be interesting to see when Weezek goes to the air if he does not look at Kale's side of the field, because Kale's had 5 interceptions over the last 2 weeks. If I'm Weezek, I would even look to the left side of the field where Kale is playing.
Weezek, fake handoff, then toss there to Rems, gets nothing on that play, so now it'll be a 3rd down for the Indians.
As I said in my key, guys, the quarterback relies way too much on his running game. He doesn't pass enough. With Gray out, he's definitely got to find his receivers more and mix it up a little. Running every time is going to get you nowhere, as you've seen on this drive.
So 30 seconds remaining now. This will probably be the last play in the first quarter. So now Weezek, he's got a decision to make. Coach Craig Nielsen also has a decision to make here. I think you got to go for the first down. There's no question about it, but is there a runner pass? And if I were Coach Nielsen, I'd pass it and maybe get a scramble, because right now the running back is non-existent. Weezek, of course, hands it off there to Rems. Proves my point correct. So now that will be the end of the first quarter. The Wayne Hills Patriots lead the Pascack Valley Indians 7-0. Guys, first quarter, all Wayne Hills.
Well, Wayne Hills really set the tempo from the get-go with that rushing touchdown by Dan DeSico. But Pascack Valley is showing that they're not going to quit in this game, because Pascack Valley did a nice job stopping Wayne Hills. They sacked Mike Giampapa 3 times tonight, and then they forced a fumble on Carlton Marston. So Pascack Valley will definitely stay around this game for as long as they could.
Aaron Ploshnik's got to interview us. Aaron, what do you got?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with 3 former Wayne Hills graduates of the class of 2007, Mike Massoud, Eddie Rolf, Steve DiBianco. Mike, what do you think of the Patriots' play so far in the first quarter?
I think they're playing quite well. Their defense has to pick it up a little bit, and the line has to give Jipu a lot more protection. Their offense is contagious. If they get one play, then it sparks a humongous explosion.
I definitely agree with that. Eddie, what do you think about the Patriots' chances to run the table this season?
I think we showed against Old Japan, which was supposed to be one of the biggest games this year, that we can play with anyone, just like we always were. And I think we're going to do it again. I don't really see too many teams that are going to stop us, although we have some problems with our line. I really don't see anybody stopping us once again.
Guys, you guys played 2007 last year, one of the best years in Wayne Hills history. Steve, how do you think this team stacks up to your team from last year?
I think they're pretty good. I mean, their line is getting there. I think they we lost a lot of guys all state. Their line's getting there. I think, skilled-wise, they're all good. These guys are all most of them returning starters, and I think they're going to win this year.
You heard it for some now proud Patriot fans. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Aaron. As we're back up here, as you heard, the 3 graduates of 2007, Mike Massoud, Eddie Rolf, and Steven DiBianco. And they said it best, Dave. The team's just as talented. Tradition never graduates.
Well, Coach Olson really does a great job grooming talent for the future. And as we've said in the past, Andrew, the Patriots don't rebuild, they just reload.
Personally, I'm looking for Mike Quinn to come up very big next year. He'll be a junior starting after Jipu leaves, and he's just getting groomed for next year, and he seems to be very good so far.
But getting back to that last offensive stand by the Wayne Hills Patriots, Paul, Jake, and Bowen Jones have really stepped up their play over the past few weeks. They're really doing a nice job putting pressure on the ball carrier, and they've done a great job stopping the run.
Giampapa hands off there to DeSico, making a move. He gets to about the 15-yard line, keeps his legs moving, so that'll bring up another first down for Wayne Hills.
In high school football, every yard counts. As you saw there, Dan DeSico, again, he's explosive. He keeps those legs churning, and he just got those extra yards. I believe they're on the 12 now. That he could have been tackled at the 20 if he just stopped and went down, but he didn't. He's a great running back.
A 28-yard rush there by Dan DeSico, as a couple of Indians just went on the DD Express. Dan DeSico just displaying his strength. He's just having a fabulous night so far here in the early going.
Giampapa hand off to DeSico, and he's going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. So now I'll bring up second down for the Patriots.
The blocks just weren't there for Dan DeSico, and DeSico, as great as he's been tonight, he could only do so much. And when he's not getting the blocking, he will be stopped.
So now it will be 2nd and 9 for the Patriots. And this is, guys, I think this is the play action at its best in this situation inside the red zone.
Oh, no doubt about it, because Mike Giampapa has really done a nice job finding his wide receivers and tight ends in this situation.
Toss there to the Seco. Good block there by Mike Roman. Runs up the field, gets to about the line of scrimmage. So now it'll be a third down play for the Patriots.
So far, Pascack Valley and Wayne Hills offense are pretty similar. They keep handing off the ball. They haven't passed much. The only difference, Wayne Hills is gaining yards. Pascack Valley is getting stuffed at the line.
Guys, I know it's a little windy tonight, but do you think that's the reason why these teams are elected to go with the ground attack instead of the aerial attack?
I think so, because the winds are definitely a factor tonight, Dave. I mean, it's freezing, it's cold. I mean, not a lot of people are wearing long sleeves. I'm shocked, but I think they're going to go in the air here. Giampapa, quick pass there to the Seco. Runs up the field, makes a move. He's going to be brought down there by a host of Pascack Valley Indians led by Donald Wiesek. So now he'll bring a fourth down, Dave. I think it's Tim Divers' time. But there is a flag on the play, actually.
Well, I don't know if it's Tim Divers' time because it would be probably about 4th and about 2. I could see the Patriots going for it, especially with the way the Secos ran the ball tonight.
But the flag brings it back, so I think could be a Divers situation.
Well, it depends if it's a loss of down on the play, too. If it is a loss of down on the play, it's definitely a Tim Divers situation.
Oh, it's actually against the Pascack Valley Indians, so it'll be a first down. And this all means the jumbo set, Dave.
Wayne Hills loves using the jumbo set inside the 5-yard line, as Pascack Valley was doing a great job on defense as they were about to stop Wayne Hills again on 3rd down. But this is just a killer penalty for Pascack Valley, and it could wind up being a 4-point difference because if Tim Divers comes down and makes a field goal, and that's the difference between Divers making a field goal and Wayne Hills getting a touchdown.
Giampapa pass is batted down, and really, Dave, you've seen a difference tonight in the quality of play by the offensive line and G2. I mean, I think it has to be the weather and the combination of Pascack Valley's defense is coming out and playing hard.
Personally, I think that's the pressure, plus the wind doesn't help either. But these quarterbacks are definitely having trouble with the pressure. As you saw, it just got batted down like Giampapa's pass. So the run is definitely a more reliable play.
Well, I'm surprised that the Pascack Valley defensive line is giving the offensive line of Patriots so much trouble because Chris Yu and Zach Cocozo are not playing tonight for the Indians. And those are 2 of the starters on the defensive line for the Indians. So the fill-ins for the injured Indians are really doing a nice job penetrating this offensive line for Wayne Hills.
So now Wayne Hills will burn their first timeout in the first half as they have 2 remaining. And guys, I mean, this defense for Pascack Valley is ferocious. We all know when they're healthy, they have a great D. I mean, the past 2 years when they've gone to the Northwest Group 2 championship game, they're known for having their great defense. It was their lack of offense. Last year they lost 9-8 in the championship game to Westwood. So we all know the offense was never a problem. It's this defense that has always been stingy for them.
Well, the defense has been fantastic tonight. Mike Giampapa has had absolutely no time in the pockets to throw the ball, and he had Marson open in the end zone. But a nice job by the defensive line of the Indians getting a hand in his face and batting down the pass. But last year, it would have been hard to tell the difference between a baseball game and a football game if you were at the championship game, Pascack Valley against Westwood, because it was such a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I mean, you go out there and when you give up only 9 points, you expect to win a game, a championship game. But when your team can only manage to get 8 points, you know it. Offense is a struggle for this team, Dave. We all know that they just go out there and even the last time when these 2 teams played 4 years ago, I believe they only gave up 21 points. 21 points. I mean, 21 points in high school usually wins you a game.
Well, they always score 3. That was their problem.
My point exactly. Handed off there to Marson. Gets stopped at about the 2-yard line. But, Dave, what I was saying, you can't win when you put up 3 points.
Especially when you're playing against a team like Wayne Hills, because Wayne Hills is guaranteed to put up at least 2 to 3 touchdowns every game.
Dave, special man in the crowd tonight, alumni of Wayne Hills TV. I think we all know who it is, Dave, standing right in front of us with the Jets sweatshirt on. William Piper, old cameraman, Dave. Your thoughts on seeing him tonight in the crowd?
Well, William Piper has been at the last couple of games for the Wayne Hills Patriots. Just a great cameraman for us as Will Piper doing the tomahawk.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Piper does the tomahawk, you know there's trouble. As the play up there, up the middle, stopped once again. Dave, I have never seen this out of the Pascack Valley Indians. I mean, I've only seen them play a couple times, but their defense looks phenomenal.
Especially with the line. They had to go no holes to run through against this offensive line. If Wayne Hills wants to run the ball, they have to bounce it to the outside. as Wayne Hills is going for its 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. Maybe play action. Maybe they find a Hannenberg, Ogden, or Kale in the end zone. But I would try to toss it to the outside, especially if Kale is blocking on the outside, because Kale does a great job blocking on the outside.
I think this is a smart play. What's the worst that happens? They miss, they don't get it, so they turn over on the 1 or 2 yard line. They have a phenomenal defense, and they get a safety. I mean, it's definitely going to pay off in the end.
Toss there to Marson. He's got room, and that's it. He found the way to get into the end zone. 13-0 Wayne Hills on a great run there by Carlton Marson. He was untouched.
Great job there by the Patriots, utilizing Carlton Marson on the outside, as Marson had a huge hole as he bounced it to the left side of the field into the end zone. 13-0 Patriots.
That was a great fake. I mean, none of the Pascack Valley defenders saw him. They were all looking for DeSico to get the ball, but they gave it to Marson, and he just got in untouched.
Tim Divers to take the extra point attempt. Divers having a phenomenal year. The kick, just as I said that, I booted it, chipped it to the right side. So now I jinxed him, Dave.
Well, that's very unexpected from Tim Divers nowadays. Now 25 for 27 on extra points this season. Everyone's allowed to make a mistake once in a while, but Tim Divers has just been absolutely phenomenal this season for the Patriots. No one could have expected so much success so early on for Tim Divers, who's only a sophomore. But now maybe people are expecting a little too much, because Tim Divers is going to make some mistakes, but he's only going to get better from those mistakes.
Guys, now let's take a look at the replay of the last run by Marson. I mean, you look at the toss here to the left, untouched, Dave. Nobody was in the area. Everyone was in a different time zone, it looked like.
I don't know who was supposed to be covering Carlton Marson on that play, but that player totally missed their assignment, as Carlton Marson could have walked into the end zone because there was no one even in the vicinity of where he was running the ball.
So now it'll be 13-0, as that extra point attempt was shagged right by Divers. Divers, very uncharacteristic of him. Kale to kick off for the Patriots. Squibber there, taken by Kale. Rolls out of bounds, and it'll be a flag. So now they will start off at the 40-yard line. Aaron Plashnik, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Patriots brought it all the way down to the 4-yard line on that last drive, and were faced with 4 very tough calls. They decided to run the first 3 with Dan DeSico, and after that came to no avail. Coach Olson was faced with a very crucial 4th down call. Go for a field goal with Tim Divers, or try to punch it in the end zone. His call, a brilliant one. Fullback fake, halfback toss. DeSico runs across the line. They fake it to him. Carlton is wide open in the end zone. A perfect call by Olson, and there goes 6 more on the board for the Patriots. The offense is starting to click, even though this has been a defensive struggle so far. Back up to you guys.
Weezek handoff there to Rems up the middle for about a gain of 1. So now bring up 2nd and 9 for the Indians.
Pascack Valley's problem clearly isn't defense. They're doing a great job on defense, even though they've given up 13 points in the early going of this contest. Their problem is offense. You can't run the ball up the middle against this defensive line. And quite frankly, I don't know when Coach Craig Nielsen is going to get the memo.
Let's not forget, they did hold them to a 4th down last time, which is very impressive against this Wayne Hills offense.
So now it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Patriots. Handoff there, taken up the field, pardon me, for the Indians. So now it'll be 3rd down, as we experienced technical difficulties up here with the monitor, but now we're okay. Tackled there by DeSico.
So a manageable 3rd down here for the Indians. Let's see if they go play action. It's going to be interesting to see what Coach Nielsen does on this call, because he can't run the ball up the middle of this defensive line, because Wayne Hills is doing such a great job stopping the run.
My guess is he's learned from the past drives, and he's definitely going to pass it. He's not going to be able to run it up the middle and get 5 yards. So he's going to probably, as Dave said, do the play action, get a nice pass, hopefully completed, but probably not against this Wayne Hills defense.
Weezek handed it off. Actually, kept the quarterback keeper, gets the 1st down. Fooled me. And there he is, guys, the quarterback talking to his center, Mike Giampapa and Zach Doyes, talking about the problems tonight, Dave, I would assume, because the defensive line for Pascack Valley has been great.
Well, Coach Olson is notorious for making key adjustments that really help Wayne Hills out later in the game. And hopefully Mike DiPeri can talk to his linemen and the offensive line could solve their problems and do a better job in pass protection.
As you saw there, Wayne Hills has great chemistry. I mean, the players converse. They see what the problems are, what the problems are happening, and they definitely make adjustments for the best.
Weezek pass there up the field to number 21, Cliff Rondolo. So now it will be second down for the Indians. Stopped there by Ronnie Drees.
As Cliff Rondolo wide open on the outside. Nice pass there by Weezek, finding the open man as Pascack Valley has to move the ball along slowly. 5 yards at one play, 3 yards on another play. They're not really going for the big play, but they have to manage the game and try to control the clock. So it'll be 2nd and 5 here for Pascack Valley from the Wayne Hills 47-yard line. We're having technical difficulties, but I'll give you the call here. Weezek, handoff to Rems, up the middle, and a huge hit as he loses the ball, but recovers. A thunderous hit there by Tim Waller on Rems.
Timmy just laid him out there. He taught him not to come up that middle, and he taught him not to go up against this Wayne Hills defense.
As I was fixing the problems with our television prompter with Joe Dubow.
Joe Dubow on the radio.
So now he was helping me out. So now we got 3rd and 8. I believe, unless the scoreboard's lying to me.
No, it's 3rd and 8.
All right, so we got 3rd and 8 for the Pascack Valley Indians. And Dave, they need a score. I mean, if they want to have any momentum for the second half, they got to score before the end of the first half.
Well, I could possibly see them going to the air, down the right sideline, maybe to the side of the field where Ronnie Drees is, because on the first part of the game, even though Pascack Valley threw an interception, the wide receiver beat Drees down the field, and they had the one completion against Drees. But Pascack Valley has to be careful because Ronnie Drees has played very well for the Patriots this season. He had a big interception against Ramapo back in Week 3. And let's take a look at that last hit by Tim Waller as Rams right through the middle. Boom! A thunderous hit there by Tim Waller as Tim Waller does a great job utilizing what I like to call the hit stick.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job left there right up the middle to stop him. And it was really nice, that lower hit. So now, I mean, we're going to have 5 minutes remaining as David, the trivia question is coming up. So that's all Dave.
So if you're listening to the pregame, you might know the answer. When was the last time Wayne Hills played Pascack Valley, and what was the score? As trivia question is brought to you by Wayne Hills High School. Study hard and get good grades, as the answer will be coming up shortly.
Dave, that's a tough one. I mean, that really is just one. That has made one of your very difficult ones.
One for the experience.
Yeah, very.
Well, if you were watching the pregame show, you should know this. So I'm just trying to test everyone's knowledge and memory.
Well, since we have record number-setting viewers, they should know. Weezek, play action fake, pump fakes, throws down the field. Incomplete, nearly intercepted, nearly caught. Really fell between the Bermuda Triangle there, intended for Jimmy Grieve. So now it will be 4th down, and we can see the punting unit for the Indians.
I understand the thought on that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Brian.
I understand the thought on that play. They have to go big or go home. It's definitely crucial, as Andrew said before, to get points before this half, get some momentum back into Pascack Valley, excuse me. But Ronnie Drees did almost make them pay with that interception, but he didn't get it.
Well, they tested Drees' side of the field, and Weezek's lucky he really overthrew that ball. Otherwise, Drees could have picked that pass off.
Line drive punt taken by the Seco, fumbled and actually picked it right back up. The Seco trying to make a couple cuts, runs it down the field, keeps moving. He's going to be stopped at about the 37-yard line where the Patriots will take over. So now it'll be 1st down with 4:42 remaining here in the half.
Nice return there by Dan DeSico after bobbling the punt. Great blocking there by Kale and Drake to open up a lane for DeSico as Wayne Hills now has pretty decent starting field position from their own 38-yard line.
Dan DeSico never fails to amaze me. I mean, that looked like a horrible play from the start, but then he made some cuts, some great blocks, and he got down to the 40-yard line.
Handed off there to DeSico, runs down the right side, and DeSico's got room to run. Gets the 1st down and more, gets to about the 42-yard line. So Dan DeSico continues his dominance tonight.
Pascack Valley just cannot stop the rush to the outside. Great blocking there by Jeremiah Kale, as Kale is really proving to be an elite blocker in run blocking.
Watch Channel 77 this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, Thanksgiving weekend. That's a while, while you're eating your turkey. Turn on 77. You'll see all classic games, the 4 state championships. Guys, relive the moments. That's all
I'll
you
definitely
can
be
ask
watching.
For. Hand it off there to Marson. Runs down the field. Gets about 8 yards on the play where the Patriots will take over. So now 2nd down for Wayne Hills.
Nice job by Marson, cutting to the outside, making some moves, as now it will be, I believe it will be a 2nd and short situation for the Patriots as Mike Roman comes into the game for Wayne Hills. So 2nd and 2 for Wayne Hills from the Pascack Valley 36-yard line as 3 minutes and 43 seconds remain here in the first half as Wayne Hills tries to add on to their 13-0 lead.
13-0, 3:35 remaining. Giampapa will take over the center. Gives it up there to Marson. Spins off a guy. Carlton getting some hard-fought yardage. Brings it up the field, so gets a 1st down where the Patriots will take over inside the 30. They got to about the 30-yard line. And it will be 1st down for the Patriots.
Although Dane Siegel's definitely been explosive tonight and having a phenomenal game, they got to give it to Carlton a little bit. He's got to take some breaths to end the Siegel. He's got to get his energy back. Carlton's not a bad running back to fall back on. He's obviously right here making plays, getting the 1st downs, and getting the yards.
Giampapa, Ogden split left. Kale goes in motion. Hand it off there to Marson. Marson finding room. Runs to the left side, makes a nice cut, gets tackled from behind by number 16, Donald Wiesek. And Marson's going places, guys. 1st down for the Patriots.
Great trickery there by the Wayne Hills Patriots as Marson took the handoff right up the gut into the secondary of the Indians as this one's coming back. They're calling a penalty on the Wayne Hills Patriots.
So they're going to call illegal block, I believe, or holding. I'm not exactly sure.
Is that a personal foul? Could be a block in the back.
Guys, Nick Tuminello, one of the rare sophomores to start on offense for these Patriots. Brian, he's in your grade. Let's talk a little bit about Nicholas Tuminello.
Nick Tuminello, I've known him. He's a childhood friend. He's definitely a big kid, not a small one to be reckoned with. He's always been good. He's got great hands, and he's fast for his size. He's just a great tight end, and he should see some playing time after this year when the starters leave.
No question about it. I mean, you could definitely see the kid play because we all know he's a big target. And when you're starting as a sophomore on offense for this Patriots team, you know you got some talent. Giampapa, the Seco goes in motion. Once again, they will go to Marson up the middle. Marson, another flag on the play, so we will await the call from the official to see what the result of this play will be.
Wayne Hills has already had 3 penalties so far in this game. They need to limit their penalties. But Wayne Hills, they've had a little bit of trouble running the ball up the middle as they picked up the flag. No penalty on the play. So it will be about 2nd and 15 for the Patriots. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to be exact.
So now it'll be 1st and 15. Scoreboard's crazy. So now more flags on the play. So it'll be false start on the Patriots. Dave, what is going on offense?
Well, the offensive line just does not have any continuity so far in this game. Besides letting up the 3 sacks on Mike Giampapa, they've picked up at least 3 penalties in this game. I really don't know what's going on. And offensive lines coach Wally Johnson cannot be happy with his unit in tonight's game.
The penalty yards add up. I mean, this is not a great spot for Wayne Hills to be in right now. They want to waste down the clock, but it doesn't look like this drive is going to continue.
Under 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Patriots lead 13-0. Giampapa, play action fake. Throws it to the right side. Nearly intercepted there. And Dave, I really don't know what's going on. I mean, unless the Martians from Space Jam came and stole everyone's talent, I don't know what the heck is going on.
Well, Mike Giampapa's really feeling the heat from this Indians pass rush because his accuracy is just not where it was in the first couple of games. He had Marson open down the field, but that pass was nearly intercepted as Giampapa has almost thrown a few interceptions in this game tonight.
Like I said before, Mike Giappapa's got to get comfortable under that pressure and make a great pass. If he just threw it over that guy's head, Carlton would have had it. He was wide open.
3rd and 19 for the Patriots. Giampapa in shotgun formation. Jipu drops back, throws it to Kyle Hannenberg. Hannenberg trying to find room, keeps bulldozing up the field. Pardon me. Gets about a loss of about 1, I believe. So now it'll be 4th down and 20 for the Patriots, and they will punt.
Just a broken down play there for the Patriots. Kyle Hannenberg had absolutely no blocking there. I think Coach Olsen was playing it pretty conservative. You didn't want to go for a deep play to try to pick up the first down. You just wanted to run down some clock. And now Pascack Valley has a chance to possibly get a touchdown with just over a minute here left in the first half.
Not the drive Wayne Hills was hoping for. Now they have to punt it away.
DeSico to punt. Punts a line drive, flag on the play. It's going to be fumbled. Flag on the play, needless to say. Recovered by Jeremiah Kale, but they're going to say that the penalty was on. I'm not sure, Dave. I wish we could talk to the refs via, phone or something, because I don't know what the heck's going on the field.
I'm a little confused myself, Andrew.
Well, Kale came out of the pile with the ball, as the refs are talking over right now. Let's see what they say. But if it's Wayne Hill's ball, which would mean the penalty was on Pascack Valley, that would just be an awful turnover for the Indians, turnover deep in their own territory. As the refs still discussing the call, as now Waller and DeSico talking to the official as they're getting the explanation. So 52 seconds here remaining in the second quarter. Wayne Hills 13, Pascack Valley 0. If you're just joining us, I'm David Suntup alongside Andrew Gayo and Brian Dubow.
Now, and who's got the ball?
That is the question.
Well, just by the reaction there by some of the Patriots players, they're not happy with the call.
So it will be Patriots
it is
ball.
Wayne Hill's ball, as the penalty's offset. As by the initial reaction by the Patriots players, I thought that it was going to be Pascack Valley ball and the penalty on Wayne Hills.
So now apparently they had 12 men on the field. I think both teams, Brian, I'm lost for words. I can't wait for halftime so I can breathe, because I don't know what the heck's going on. 13-0, it's a massacre on the field. People are yelling. It's crazy. Giampapa shot back the pass up to Hannenberg. We've seen this play early in the year that led to a touchdown against Bergenfield. However, this one goes against the stingy Pascack Valley defense for about a gain of 8 on the play.
Nice job there by Kyle Hannenberg, catching the pass over the middle of the field and then wrestling his way up the field for a couple extra yards, as the Patriots are now at the Indians' 4-yard line. So now, as there's a timeout on the field, Coach Alston wants to talk to his offense. This is a key situation here for the Patriots. 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Also, Wayne Hills wants to stop the clock, and now they have one timeout remaining here in the first half.
35 seconds left. The Patriots are looking to get a quick score and make it 20-0 going into the locker room.
And that'll be key. Even if you want, you can get it. If worst comes to worst, you can get a Tim Divers field goal and set it up 16-0 to make it an officially two touchdown game with 2-point conversions needed to be converted. But either way, the Patriots would like to extend their lead to a more comfortable cushion heading into the half. Dave,
sure.
Sorry, Dave, but what do you think they're going to run here?
I could see some play action, but if I was the Patriots and if I was Coach Olsen, I'd do another halfback toss to the outside, because Pascack Valley has had trouble stopping the run on the outside. But Tim Divers, if it comes to a situation where he needs to kick a field goal, he'd love to make up for his missed extra point earlier.
Giampapa, hand up the middle to DeSico. And Dave, words cannot describe how good this defensive line has been for the Indians.
The defensive line is just doing a great job clogging up the holes, especially against the run. And they've also done a nice job rushing Mike Giampapa, forcing him to make some inaccurate throws, and getting Giampapa out of the pocket.
I'm looking for the Patriots just to keep pounding it up to middle. They gain minute gains, but they will add up and you will get the touchdown. There's 29 seconds left. It's not that hard. You run a hurry-up offense. You just keep pounding up the middle, make the defense tired, and you'll come away with the touchdown.
So, guys, now Wayne Hills does not have a timeout here left in the first half. How do you think this alters the play calling for the Patriots?
I mean, I think they'll have to go hurry up. I mean, if you go, we've actually never really seen them go hurry up since our freshman year against Rampo. That was the only other time I've seen them go hurry up. Otherwise, I don't even think they know how to run. I mean, they probably know how to run it, but they just never did it in a game situation. But I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think they will find a way to score and not hurry themselves into a situation where they can make a mistake.
If it does come to that, the key is to keep your composure and don't make any stupid plays that might cause a turnover and lose you these points.
So now here comes the Patriots of Marson and DeSico in the backfield. Toss there to DeSico to the left side, trying to find room for the touchdown. He gets in. 19-0, pardon me, Patriots, as DeSico leads into the end zone, and it'll be a 6 more points on the board.
Like I said before, Wayne Hills once again rushing the ball to the outside as DeSico got a nice block from Carlton Marston as DeSico bulldozed his way into the end zone for a 4-yard touchdown run. DeSico's second touchdown of the night.
Danny's just having an amazing night. He's getting those touchdowns, those runs, and those big yards.
Divers, extra point, splits the uprights. Beautiful kick there by Divers. So 20-0, the Patriots after a scamper there by Danny DeSico.
And like I said before, Tim Divers was waiting for the chance to make up for his missed extra point after the Patriots' second touchdown. And he did that there. A beautiful kick there by Tim Divers. 20-0 Patriots. As barring an unexpected score here by the Indians, the Patriots will go into the locker room up 20-0 with some improvements to make, especially on the offensive line.
Well, Pascack Valley's definitely got to improve their running game. They got to break some tackles, get up, maybe go to the outside a little bit. They're going up the middle too much and getting stuffed by the Patriots' defensive line. Also, they could use a little more passing. So basically, all-around improvement. I mean, 20-0's not a great first half, so they just got to improve on all sides of the ball.
So now it'll be a kickoff by Kale. I could expect to see a squib kick here, Dave, just to to prevent any sort of return for the Indians.
Well, I can't remember the last time a team returned a kickoff for a touchdown against Wayne Hills, as they don't do the squib kick, probably because the last kick went out of bounds, as it's mishandled by Rems.
Rems takes it up there, and there he stopped inside his own 10-yard line, and Dave, we could see a safety. I mean, this league could be extended.
Well, I actually doubt we'll see a safety, because if I'm Coach Nielsen, I just take a knee and go into the locker room down 20-0. And if I'm Coach Nielsen, I'm pretty proud of the way the defense is playing. And as for the offensive side of the ball, Pascack Valley has to make a lot of adjustments if they want a chance to come back against this Wayne Hills juggernaut.
Personally, Dave, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think they have to go big, maybe try to get some last-minute points in, although it's very unlikely. There might be a sack, but that's going to have to be a 10-yard sack. It's not very likely to get a safety.
And they defer to Brian Dubow, and they go to David Suntup, and they will take the knee, go into the locker room, down 20-0. The smart choice, not the risky one, but the smart one. So at half, guys, 20-0, Wayne Hills leads the Pascack Valley Indians. Danny DeSico really having a great night. And for the Patriots, the defense for the Pascack Valley Indians having a very nice night as well. Guys, what were your key points in this first half?
Well, I've been really surprised with the play by the Wayne Hills offensive line. They've had a lot of trouble protecting Mike Giampapa. Giampapa has been running wild outside the pocket, having trouble throwing accurate passes to his receivers because of the lack of time he's had. And then Wayne Hills has done a nice job running the ball to the outside of the field. Great job by Dave DeSico and Carlton Marson, bouncing it to the outside, taking the ball up the field, breaking tackles. And the Wayne Hills defense has done a great job stopping the run. The defensive line is showing that last week was no fluke, as Kevin Rems has had no room to run the ball tonight.
I'm going to have to agree with Dave. I mean, the Patriots' defense are definitely stepping tonight. It's defense, defense, defense. The offense, not too shabby as well, but they're definitely being carried by Danny DeSico, a key component in the Patriots' offense. So maybe they'll fall back a little bit on Carlton Marson this half, but you never know.
Guys, Donald Wiesek really was not getting much time to pass the ball. The defensive line, a second straight week of dominance, really, against the offensive line of the Patriots. What does this defensive line have to do in the second half to make sure Wiesek is not effective at all?
Well, maybe they start bringing some linebackers in on a blitz, show him different looks, really change their formation so Weezick doesn't know what's coming.
You just got to crash the boards, get the line to get the pressure on him, make stupid passes, and get turnovers. Those interceptions definitely key, and they got to just step it up. I mean, they're doing great already, but they could be doing better. I mean, but so far, not a bad performance.
This past week, I had a chance to sit down with the Tri-State Player of the Week, number 2, the wide receiver and quarterback, Jeremiah Kale. And let's take a look at what Jeremiah had to say. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the In the Locker Room Report. I'm David Suntup, and this week I'm joined by the wide receiver and cornerback for your Wayne Hills Football Patriots, number 2, Jeremiah Kale. So, Jeremiah, last week you had probably your best defensive performance of your career, 3 interceptions. How were you able to get it done and really force turnovers and really stop a lot of Golden Knights drives?
Well, throughout the week of practice, we understood that we had to stop and control Gray because he was the biggest threat. So our defensive line and linebackers did a really, really well job in containing him. So that way they had to go into the pass. And the DBs, we were ready. Me, Carlton, and Brian Ogden were more than ready for them to pass because we knew they were going to have to go down to that because we were stopping row. So we were able to make plays and shut them out.
So the last 2 weeks, you've had 5 interceptions, 2 against Mawa, and 2 at Mawa, and 2 at Old Tapan. How have you been able to get so many interceptions the last 2 weeks? What's been the biggest key?
I really still think that our defensive line and defensive linebackers have just been forcing teams just to throw the ball, and because they have to throw the ball, they're giving us a chance to make plays, and we're doing the best we can out of them.
So the defensive line, last year you had 3 All-State players on that line. This year you have a couple new starters. You have some youth, Ryan Salerno and Paul Drake. You have some senior leadership, Kyle Hannenberg, second-year starter, and Bowen Jones. How has that line really improved over the past 2 weeks to really help in stopping the run and giving you, Carlton, and Brian Ogden more opportunities to pick off passes?
Well, I mean, they had to come into this season knowing that, I mean, they have to replace 3 All-State players. And I think they're doing the best they can. They understood that they had to work. We had a great off-season. Our camp was amazing. They just knew what they had to do, and they're doing great.
So on the offensive side of the ball, you caught your first touchdown of the year, but things didn't come as easy for you in the beginning of the game. You had a couple catches where you got caught for a loss. It was Old Tapan did a nice job tackling. How come the passes in the flats didn't work out? And how are you able to come up big when your team really needed a touchdown?
Well, we knew that Old Tapan was going to play tight around the corners, and we just thought maybe we can get out there, get some pins around the corners and try to get a break. But we just knew that we just had to keep on working. We've been working on that play that we scored on. We knew it was going to work because they were playing man. They were going to pretend like I was going to go in and block the safety and then come out. But the play worked out awesome. We just knew that we had to keep on working. We couldn't just let it get to us.
For the last 5 games of last year, you started at quarterback, and you also played against Old Tapan, so 6 games at quarterback. How much does that help you now as a wide receiver in terms of route running, knowing where Giampapa wants you to be to deliver the ball? And also, talk about your relationship with Mike Giampapa now that you took over for him last year, how he's been back at quarterback. How's that been working out?
Well, first of all, for me being quarterback last year, you understand the way the defense is thinking. You understand their weaknesses, you know their coverages, you understand where they're most vulnerable. And because Mike's a quarterback, I know that he knows where I'm supposed to be. So on certain routes, I'm able to get in there and understand the weaknesses of the defense. And Mike's doing an unbelievable job back there, doing an awesome job, getting me the ball, getting Brian Ogden the ball, getting Hannenberg the ball. He's doing a great job. And just because of the fact that we're quarterbacks, we understand the defense most.
Against Mawa, you played the whole game. That was real. Besides Ramapo, that was really the first game where you really had a close battle on your hands. All the starters played the whole game. They really developed their stamina. How much did that help you come crunch time in the fourth quarter when Wayne Hills was in great physical condition? Old Tapan was really tiring out there.
Well, if you noticed, Old Tapan's players they were breathing heavy in the third and fourth quarter. They were tired. But then our off-season work and the week of preparation for everything just helped us out so much. We understood that it's going to be 4 quarters and it was going to be a battle. And I think because of our conditioning and the strength that we had, that it helped us a lot in the win.
If you play Old Tapan again in the Northland Group 3 playoffs, and that's very possible because Wayne Hills and Old Tapan could be the top 2 teams besides Wayne Valley, what improvements do you have to make against Old Tapan in order to beat them a second time in the playoffs?
Well, we know our coaches always do an unbelievable job with the scouting report. We'll know exactly what they're going to be running, certain downs, what they're going to be up to. So we're just going to have another good week of practice. We're not going to just let our one win get to our head and say, oh, we're going to be able to go out there and beat them again. We have to know that we're going to have to work really, really hard the week before if we end up seeing them again.
So now this week you have Pascack Valley. They lost to Ramsey and lost to Old Tappan. So they're kind of desperate for a win because Mawa's really been playing well in Northland Group 2 in terms of getting a lot of power points. What do you have to do this week in order to beat Pascack Valley?
Well, our coach this week kept telling us that this is their season. This is their season. If they come out there and lose, they're most likely not going to be making the playoffs. So we understand that they're going to come out here as fired up as possible. They're going to come out here wanting to win. So we're going to have to just have another solid week of practice and understand that it's not going to be easy.
And also, how do you prepare for a team that the varsity squad has not played since the 2003 season? Is it difficult?
Well, we just know that we're going to be ready to take on Pascack Valley in a good way. We're going to be physical as we always been. Our defense is going to be playing awesome like always. Our offense is going to continue striking on the ball, making plays. So hopefully we come out there and get the win.
And last year, you actually put them in a scrimmage last year. It was a very physical scrimmage. How much do you think that will affect this game?
Well, we know that they're always a great team. They're always physical. They're always going to get out on the ball. Their defense swarms the ball, gets the ball very quickly. So we're just going to have to understand that it's basically like a rival. We're going to have to play as though we need this win too.
Well, you guys win your 31st straight game this Friday.
Yes, we will.
Jeremiah, thank you. Always an honor. That was Jeremiah Kale, number 2, wide receiver and quarterback of your Wayne Hills Football Patriots. And we'll be right back with more halftime activities.
Here's Campbell. Campbell centering Lischio. Off his stick, Lischio falls down. Beautiful pass from Campbell. Lischio not able to hang on to it. Axelman in the corner. Axelman, nice moves. Centers to Lischio. And Wayne Hills puts it away. Wayne Hills puts it away. Albert Campbell, his 4th goal. It's absolutely crazy at the ice ball. Wayne Hills, your 2005 NBIL Ice Hockey Championship. Albert Campbell, 4 goals. For the Patriots, 6 goals. Campbell, the sophomore. What else can you say but wow?
Welcome back to Patriot Stadium, and I'm going to send it to Mr. Ernie Mezzi and Mr. Director Joe Paterno for the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band.
Movement 1, power. Movement 2, adventure. Movement 3, action. The Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, let's return that salute with an appropriate standing round of applause for the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band.
And welcome back here to Patriots Stadium. It's halftime here. The Wayne Hills Patriots are on top of the Pascack Valley Indians, 20-0. I'm David Suntup, and now I'm joined by sports columnist for the Wayne today, Rich Stambolian. So, Rich, even though Wayne Hills has a 20-0 lead over the Pascack Valley Indians, offensive line play has been a huge issue for Wayne Hills tonight. What's been wrong with their offensive line, and how do they fix their woes on the offensive line?
I think part of it probably is a little bit of post-Old Japan hangover, because they've been playing really well the last couple of weeks, and as you said, they're clearly not playing well tonight. It's kind of masked a little bit by the fact that they have a 20-0 lead, and Danny DeSico broke that first run for 67 yards, but they've been erratic. They've had some penalties, and they just haven't been making their blocks. So it's probably more than anything else, probably lack of focus.
Mike J. Papa, the first 2 weeks, he was phenomenal. He had a very high completion percentage. Tonight, he has had a lot of time to throw in the pocket and find open receivers. And the last couple of weeks, his completion percentage has been as good as it was the first 2 weeks. What does he need to do to get back to playing at the level that he was playing at the first 2 weeks?
That's a good question, and I don't really have a definitive answer for you. I think he's probably, his confidence might be a little bit shaken. I mean, he got sacked 3 times there in the first half, which hasn't happened this year, and that'll rattle any quarterback, a little bit. So he probably needs to complete a couple of passes, string a couple of completions together, simple routes, get back in some rhythm.
Also, the Patriots have really done a nice job running the ball to the outside of the field. Talk about the contributions of Dan DeSico and Carlton Marston tonight, running the ball for the Patriots. And after the games against Mount Japan, DeSico and Marston only combined for 1 touchdown. And tonight, they already have 3 scores for the Patriots.
Right. Well, both those guys have a lethal combination of strength and speed, and that's why if they get decent blocking and those guys can pop through the line or bounce the outside runs and get out, turn the corner, they're going to gain a lot of yards. And you saw what DeSico did tonight on that first run.
Switching over to the defensive side of the ball, the Wayne Hills offensive line has been dominant the last couple of weeks. Last week against Old Japan, Jamie Rowe didn't find any holes to run through. And today, the same case could be made for Kevin Rams, who's had a tough time running the ball. How has this defensive line been so tough against the run?
Well, I think they're, to be fair about it, Pascack Valley is playing a little short-handed. Matt Gray's not in the lineup again tonight. But they're feeding off their confidence from a great performance from last week and also a pretty good performance against Mawa. Mawa had some success on that one drive running the ball, but they've been solid all year. So they're just continuing to do what they've been doing all year.
So Pascack Valley down 20-0 here, entering the third quarter. What do the Indians need to do on offense to try to change things up and possibly get into the end zone and try to get back into this game?
I don't know. I don't think it looks real good for PV to score a touchdown. Maybe if they have a trick play in their bag, and they can fool the Patriots, or run a play action like Old Japan did last week. Something they got to do to fool Wayne Hills. Maybe could get them 1 score, but I don't see them coming back from 20 points down.
Rich, thank you very much. Always an honor.
My pleasure, as always.
And that was Rich Stambolian, a sports columnist for the Wayne today. And now we will send it back up to Andrew Gayo, who will have the call of the second half of Wayne Hills, Pascack Valley.
1:46 till the second half. We brought our newest member of the broadcast crew tonight, Sean Yu. Sean, 20-0. You were down on the field doing the sideline cam. What are your thoughts on the game in the early going so far in the first half?
I mean, first of all, it is freezing today. Down there, I can't feel my fingers, and I feel bad for the people down below in the cave. I mean, they must be freezing out there. But one point that really struck me was how well Wayne Hills' defense is playing. Even though they're up, I mean, they got to battle against the Pascack Valley offense. So, good job for Wayne Hills' defense right now.
And let's take a look at those highlights from the first half of action versus the Pascack Valley Indians tonight, David.
Pascack Valley coming with a sense of urgency as Wyzak's pass intercepted by Marson. Then Wayne Hills took over from there. Dave DeSico up the left side of the line as a couple of Indians come on the DD Express. And then Carlton Marson caps off the drive, a 4-yard touchdown around 13-0 Patriots. And then Tim Waller using the hit stick, but Rems recovers the fumble. And then the punt by DeSico. As watch there, Jeremiah Kale recovering a fumble, and it led to another Dave DeSico touchdown, a 3-yard touchdown, and that's where we stand at the start of the third quarter, 20-0 Patriots.
And David and Rich said it best. You know, Pascack Valley's momentum right now is little to none. They're going to have a tough time coming back. If their D keeps playing the way they are, they're going to be in decent shape, but if you can't, if you have no offense, you can't win games.
Especially against a team like Wayne Hills, because Wayne Hills is averaging, I believe they're averaging about 35 points a game. So the Pascack Valley defense, they played well, don't get me wrong. But if they can't put up at least 28 points in this game, they can't expect to come out of here with a win, plain and simple. And next week doesn't get any easier because they play Mawa. And after next week, they could have 4 losses, and they could be in a lot of trouble in terms of North 1 Group 2 power points.
And yeah, their defense does have to get better, but still, you're facing 2 very, very skilled running backs in the NBI division, Carlton Marson and Dan DeSico, and both of them will score points for you, no matter how well your defense is playing.
And for the first time this year, the Patriots will not have the ball starting the second half. The Indians will have the ball, and the Patriots will kick off to start off the half. Kale to kick for the Patriots. Kale's kick is sent high into the air, taken there by the Indians. Up the field, tackled there by Mike Roman and others of the Patriots. So Rems sets them up at about the 20-yard line where the Indians will take over.
Nice job there in special teams coverage by the Patriots. Everyone got down the field quickly, and Rems had no holes to run through in this special teams unit for the Patriots.
So this is where Wezek and the rest of the Pascack Valley Indians will take over. They'll be at about the 20-yard line of the Indians. Wezek drops back to pass, throws it up the field, nearly intercepted by Ryan DiDerno off his hands. I guess he was not expecting it. Needless to say, where the heck was Wezek passing the ball?
I don't know who he was throwing to, but all I know is that Ryan DiDerno is wearing a maroon jersey. He's not wearing a white jersey. But Ryan DiDerno not happy with himself after he failed to pick off that pass. That's one where he definitely thought he should have picked that off.
And if you want to come back, you can't make stupid plays like that. I mean, that was right to Ryan DiDerno. It was as he thought Ryan DiDerno was a receiver.
2nd and 10 for the Indians. Wezek hands off there to Rems, runs up the field, spins off a couple people. Finally, he's taken down there by Jeremiah Kale. So now it'll be 3rd down and about 6 for the Indians.
Kevin Rems having a very quiet night tonight, and you have to give all the credit in the world to the Wayne Hills offensive line, giving Rems no holes to run through. Rems broke a tackle there and had a nice run of 4 yards. So even not a good run for Rems, he only picked up 4 yards. Shows how great this run defense has been tonight for the Patriots.
Hand it off there to Rems. And he's going to be stopped for a loss. So now the Patriots will look to take over on offense. And a special teams unit will come on the field here as Wezek will punt it away.
And Wayne Hills has been playing great because last game against Otapan, they were against the powerhouse running back with Jamie Rowe, and coming against this team with injured running back, I mean, it's easy for Wayne Hills defense right now.
Wezek to kick. I don't know if that's a flag or a balloon on the field. I cannot tell. It will be stopped at about the 37-yard line. Actually, it was a streamer on the field that was not a flag. Confused the heck out of me. So the Patriots will take over on their own 37-yard line. A nice punt by Donald Wezek.
Nice punt there by Weezick, nice and deep toward the sideline. I thought Marston might have touched the ball there. Couldn't get a clear view, but obviously he didn't touch it because the ref saw it on the field.
Yeah, Wayne Hill's special teams has been just non-existent this game, as great punting by Pascack Valley.
Wayne Hills takes over. Papa at quarterback. Jeremiah Kale and Brian Ogden split left and right. Papa hand off there to DeSico. He's going to be stopped by a host of Pascack Valley Indians. Aaron Ploshnik, the fourth member of the broadcast crew, has something. Aaron, take it away.
Thanks a lot, guys. I talked to Walter Johnson, the special teams coach, coming out of the second half, coming out of the tunnel for the second half, and he said the key to this half is to keep playing consistent ball as they've been in the first half. But one thing that hampered the Patriots in the first half was their penalties. Pascack Valley was able to capitalize on certain penalties, and even though they weren't able to score, they were given many threatening situations. So as long as the Patriots keep their offense consistent and stop enforcing stupid penalties, then they should be able to coast to a win, guys. Back to you.
Papa's threw a deep pass there to Kale. If you missed it, I'm not sure if you did. You probably saw it. But so that was a big completion there for Kale. So now it'll be first down for the Patriots on the Indian 46-yard line.
Nice pass protection by the offensive line. Papa had a lot of time to throw the ball, and he delivered a strike to Kale for a long completion as the Patriots cross midfield to start off the second half.
Yeah, I mean, look for Wayne Hills to pass it more, as their run offense has just been stopped by this Pascack Valley defense.
Marson makes a spin move, but he's going to be stopped there. Pushed a little backwards there by Sean Humphrey. So now it will be second down for the Patriots.
Nice tackle there by Tom Cora, wrapping up Carlton Marson, because if Cora doesn't make that tackle, Marson's gone, because Joey Volpe did a nice job clearing a lane there for Marson, but Cora spoiled the possible touchdown run by Marson.
Yeah, great tackle by Cora for stopping Carlton due to any of his slick moves from getting away from the tackle.
Papa, 2nd and 3 for the Patriots. Handoff there to Marson. Scrambles up the middle, trying to get to the first down marker. He's going to be stopped a little bit short, so it'll be third down and about 1 or 2 for the Patriots.
Nice run there by Marson. Made a couple of nice cuts. Great blocking there by Pogorelic, clearing a lane for Marson. And now it's a very short third down for the Patriots. 3rd and 1 to be exact. Coach Olson has so many options that he could pull out of his bag of tricks.
Yeah, this offensive line has been playing great, as they were very doubtful for this year as giving up many sacks or any other bad things. But Wayne Hill's offensive line has been great.
Hand it off there. Lead to DeSico.
I think he's short.
It's going to be short. So that will be about 4th and 1. So now, decision time. You got to go for it.
Oh, no doubt about it. First of all, you're decently deep in Indians territory. The Patriots have the ball at the Indians' 38-yard line. Pascack Valley has done absolutely nothing on offense. Even when the Indians have had good field position, you have to go for it here. Just open up the playbook, maybe some play action, and go deep down the field.
Yeah, and especially with the wind, I don't think Divers could make a field goal. It's very far, and this wind is just ridiculous.
Well, we were in the pros, they wouldn't be kicking a field goal from here, most likely. Because it would be a 55-yard try.
Hey, you never know.
Way out of the range of any high school kicker.
Divers hasn't been tested yet.
Unless you're Brian Hamlin
Yeah.
from Don Bosco Prep. Our advisor, Mr. Hookstray, knows about him from covering Bergen Catholic Don Bosco games. Hamlin, last year, I believe, kicked a 51-yarder versus Bergen Catholic. And Dave, 51's a long way.
Especially for a high school kicker. 51 is a very long distance, especially in the frigid cold weather of New Jersey, if it was later in the season. And here is the answer to tonight's trivia question. It's brought to you by Wayne Hills High School. Study hard and get good grades. If you said the 2003 season back on November 7, 2003, you are correct. And the Patriots defeated the Indians 21-3 here at Patriots Stadium.
That was actually one of their last wins that year, David. Actually,
well, the next week they beat Passaic Valley in the first round of the Group 3 playoffs. As let's take a look at the MSG Tri-State top 10. A lot of New Jersey schools in there, especially in the top 5. 4 of the top 5 are New Jersey schools.
And that's saying something about the type of gridiron play that is happening in the Garden State. Jipu, play action fake, throws it up the middle, complete the Hannenberg, gets the first down. A conversion on 4th down again for the Patriots. Opens up a new series of first downs.
Nice job there by the Patriots. Mike Giampapa avoiding the rush, using the play action, and going across the middle of the field to Kyle Hannenberg. Great play calling by the Patriots.
Yeah, very, very nice play. Even though protection broke a little as one of the ends came out strong to Giampapa. Great release by Giampapa and a great pass right to Kyle Hannenberg.
Jipu brings his men to the line. DeSico in motion. Actually, yeah, DeSico in motion. Another false start penalty will be enforced. So now Patriots been shooting themselves in the foot tonight, Dave, with useless penalties.
The offensive line has gotten about 5 penalties tonight, really costing the Patriots valuable yardage on offense. But the Patriots are doing a nice job moving the ball in this drive, so hopefully it won't set them back too far.
Yeah, and many of the Wayno's Patriot players tell me that's the one thing Olsen just really, really hates is those little penalties, and they're gonna be punished during tapes.
So now it'll be 1st and 15 for the Patriots. Jipu fake toss there, and it passes once again batted down by Pascack Valley. That was by Jimmy Bueller. A beautiful knockdown there. So now bring up 2nd and 15.
Yeah, that was the second play where the line just broke protection, and I mean with the false start too, this line's just got to pick it up.
Nice job there by Jimmy Bueller as he bursted right through the Wayno's offensive line, up the middle, and batted down the pass like Giampapa. Giampapa's had about 3 passes batted down close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing, the defensive line play tonight. They've really been playing a lot better than expected. Giampapa back to pass, throws it down the field. Intercepted there by number 15, actually that's Wiezek. Wiezek intercepts the pass, takes it down the field to about the 40-yard line. Jipu's first interception of the year as Pascack Valley takes over on O.
Mike Giampapa's had a few passes that have been close to intercepted tonight, and that time Donald Wiezek just stepped right in front of Mike Giampapa's pass. As Giampapa has been rushed from all angles tonight, he hasn't had the time that he's used to having in the pocket, so it's been a tough night for Mike Giampapa and his offensive line.
And right when I say it, after praising the offensive line for their great work this game, they just start falling apart.
I'm taking the blame for one-on-one with number 1 not working this week. Wiezek hands it off there to number 25, Kevin Rems, for a gain of about 1. So the Patriots now have a 2nd and 9. The Indians, have a 2nd and 9 on their own 40-yard line.
The bottom line tonight for the Indians, the failure to make adjustments on the offensive side of the ball. They keep running the same plays over and over again, and Coach Nielsen is not fooling Coach Olsen one bit.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work, you should change it up instead of keep going to the same thing. It's just the old school rule, you know?
It is an old school rule, Sean, you, my friend. Wiezek drops back to pass. He's getting rushed by 3 guys. Number 45, Josh Kim, gets swamped by a bunch of defenders. No gain on the play, possibly a loss. So now bring up 3rd down for the Indians.
Patriots read the screen pass all the way. Great job there by Danny DeSico getting into the backfield and making a nice leg tackle.
Yeah, the way Wayne Hill's defense is playing, I don't see Pascack Valley scoring any with their just sluggish offense right now.
So now, 3rd and 11 for the Indians as that screen pass just broke down. And I think the Patriots D's coming out ferocious on this drive to make up for the interception by Giampapa on the previous offensive series. Number 17 goes in motion. Pass down the field. Incomplete. Intended for Jimmy Grieve. So it'll be 4th down now for the Indians. And here comes the punting unit.
Paul Drake unblocked into the backfield. Lit a huge hit there on Wiezek as Wiezek's pass incomplete. That must have been related to the way Paul Drake just rushed into the backfield.
While we have a moment, I like to, I've been asked this many times, but give a shout out to all those freshmen who come out and support the varsity teams, come stand on the sidelines, even in the cold weather. Sam Schultz, particular, Eugene Lowe, James Hogan, I can go on and on. They wanted me to give a shout out, so I rewarded them. DeSico takes it down the left sideline. Needs to be wrapped up there by number 33, Justin Moorberg. But Dave, don't you like that dedication from the underclassmen?
Definitely, because one day all those players are going to be in the shoes of DeSico, Marson, Kale, Gianpapa, Hannenberg, and they'll be leading the Wayne Hills Patriots here under the lights on Friday nights.
Speaking of shout-outs, again, I like to shout out the people back down in the Bat Cave right now. They must be freezing down there and they're just doing work.
Yeah, do work. Aaron Plastic's got something. Aaron.
Thanks a lot, guys. I was just in the on the Patriots sideline talking with offensive guard Pat Mitchell, and you told me the reason that Gianpapa is getting rushed so much is because Pascack Valley is sending 8, 9, or even 10 people in the box on consistent plays. He, and I quote him, says, they send their normal line guys, and as soon as you see the first wave, the second wave just rushes at him. Gianpapa's getting pressured, and unfortunately, he was intercepted on that last drive. So unless the Patriots keep their offensive line up, Pascack could make a run. I mean, there's still time left in this game. We'll see what happens. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Aaron. 4:04 remaining here in the third quarter as the Patriots look to set up a 2nd and 11 here from their own 43-yard line. Jipu, 3 wide receiver set, handoff there to Marson. Marson runs down the field. He's actually tackled, touched, and he has a second effort to get the first down. Great effort there by Carlton to avoid the tackling and get to the first down.
Carlton Marson also showing off some of his strength. Great job there by Marson, staying on his feet, dragging ball tacklers for a couple extra yards for the first down. And Marson picked up the first down despite a horse collar tackle by the Indians, which was not called by the refs, as Marson moves the chains for a first down.
So now it'll be 1st and 10 from the Indian 44-yard line. Volpe, DeSico actually now flags on the play. Another full start penalty, Dave. What's the matter?
I really have no idea. Maybe it's the changes that they've made on the line, but Coach Wally Johnson really has to sit down with the offensive line, look over the films, to try to figure out why is everyone not on the same page.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being an offensive lineman is just basically about team community. I mean, communication and just team unity. And if they don't have that, there's going to be many false starts and many other penalties.
Gianpapa, 1st and 15. 3 wide receivers set. Kale, Volpe, and DeSico, and Marson in the backfield. Another flag. As they're going to call another false start penalty, I believe. Or delay a game, actually, now on the Patriots. So now it'll be 1st and 20. Patriots keep moving themselves back.
Coach Olsen cannot be happy with his team right now because one thing he will not tolerate are penalties, because these are totally unnecessary penalties that can easily be corrected, and it's just totally unnecessary that the Patriots are shooting themselves in the foot on offense.
Gianpapa back to pass, getting a lot of pressure. Throws it to Marson. Tripped up by his own man. Tackled there by Matt Buser. So now it'll be 2nd down for the Patriots.
And with this struggling offensive line, I mean, nothing's going right for them. The penalties are piling up, and just Olsen's getting frustrated right now.
Mike Gianpapa's just running for his life out there. Even a screen play totally breaking down for the Patriots. So just not getting the blocking on the outside tonight. And next week it might not get any easier because Demarest has had a very stingy defense the whole season. And Demarest has some scouts here tonight, so I'm sure they're watching this game very closely.
They have had a stingy defense indeed. Kale lined up at quarterback, pump fakes, runs to the right side, takes a move and gets to about the 50-yard line. Good job there by Jeremiah Kale. A little trickery by Coach Olsen.
Yeah, I mean, that 5 receiver set was was very questionable. I heard the Pascack Valley coaches up top calling bubble screen, but good run by Jeremiah Kale, getting some solid yards.
Jeremiah Kale's used to running from the quarterback position because last year he was very efficient running the ball while playing quarterback for the Patriots. He got around an Indian defender at the start of the run, and then a nice hesitation move and a quick burst to the outside.
Jipu. Two wide receivers at I formation. Play action fake. Drops back to pass. Throws it down the field. Intended for Jeremiah Kale. Flag is thrown. And I believe it's going to be interference. At least defensive interference from what I'm understanding.
Weezek was in the way of Kale, but once Kale put his hands on Weezek, I think that's offensive pass interference. Let's see what the refs decide to do in this situation.
Could go either way.
But once Kale put his hands on Weezek, I think that makes it offensive pass interference. And
Oh,
they're pulling
and-
on Weezek.
And it's going to be on Weezek. I am a little appalled by the play. I mean, Craig Nielsen is frustrated. He's on the field screaming at the ref, and I'd be livid as well.
And the coaches behind us are going out of control right now.
Well, I don't blame them because I really think that should have been offensive pass interference. Because once Kale put his hands on Weezek, that was definitely offensive pass interference. But before then, Kale was obstructed from getting to the ball.
Yeah, I'm obviously the biggest Wayne Hill supporter you can find, but that was just an unbelievable bad call. I mean, it was down the field, and it seemed that Kale had his hands on Weezek, but what can you do? You're Wayne Hills. You're good. You're gonna get the calls.
Well, I have to give credit there to G and Papa taking a shot down the field, utilizing the speed of Kale against Weezek, and it pays off for the Patriots, even though the pass was overthrown, intended for Kale.
Yeah, I mean, Craig Nielsen, I thought was going to have to be taken by security off the field. He was going crazy. He was about midfield screaming at the ref.
That was a Bobby Knight-esque right there.
Yeah, I'm surprised no chairs were thrown on the field. Hand off there to DeSico. Runs up the right side. Got out a gain of about 3 to 4 yards. 4 yards, 5 yards. Wow, they moved it up a little bit. Good job there by DeSico to get a little extra out of nothing. So that'll be 2nd and 5 for the Patriots.
Dan DeSico keeps dragging ball carriers for extra yards, doing a fantastic job tonight. Like I said before, during the beginning of the game, expect 50 to 20 carries from DeSico. Make the Indians stop him, and tonight the Indians have failed to stop Dan DeSico.
Yeah, just like the old DePan game, the two running backs are just grinding their way through the yards.
Giampapa back to pass, throws it to Kale. Ogden, pardon me, runs up the field. Ogden gets enough for the first down, I believe. 1:15 and counting down here in the third quarter. Patriots lead the Pascack Valley Indians 20 to nothing.
Nice job by Jim Papa, utilizing Ogden in the flat, and Brian Ogden running ahead and diving for the first down.
Yeah, that bubble screen has been working for Wayne Hills since I first came to Wayne Hills, and that's just one of their solid plays that they use.
So now it'll be 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Giampapa, I formation. Hand off there to DeSico, makes a move, runs out to the left side, tries to find the end zone, and Danny scampers in for a 6-yard score. Patriots lead 26 to nothing.
Dancing with the Stars, part 2, right there.
Out of bounds.
Oh, and this crowd is just sighing right now.
And me and Dave were getting all over happy, and he was out of bounds.
Well, even though DeSico was called out of bounds at the 2-yard line, he made something out of nothing there. I thought he was going to get stuffed in the backfield, and he was just toying with the Indians defenders as DeSico gets a huge run there.
Yeah, I mean, if you grind your way through the game, you're gonna end up finding a hole and getting a big gain of yards.
Jipu hands it off to DeSico, makes a spin in the middle of the field, and it will be just short of the goal line. 35 seconds and ticking. So 20-0 Patriots would like to score at the end of the third quarter, but it doesn't really matter.
As DeSico comes off the field for the Patriots, let's see if the Patriots run another play in the third quarter. So it looks like, as of now, DeSico will not get to finish off the drive for the Patriots, but DeSico definitely set up this touchdown.
Jumbo set here, handed off to Carlton. Scampers into the end zone for a 1-yard run. 26-0. Wayne Hills, 6 seconds remain here in the third quarter.
Nice job by Carlton Marston, finishing off what DeSico started. Touchdown Patriots. 4 touchdowns tonight between DeSico and Marston. I knew that DeSico and Marston were due for breakout performances tonight here at Patriots Stadium.
Yeah, while I was at sideline camera before the game was starting, Carlton Marston was on the side getting ready, and I asked him, Carlton, how many touchdowns are you going to score today? He goes, I don't know how much Pascack Valley gives me, you know?
Yeah, well, they gave him one there. Actually, he made it there. Got to give it to Carlton. 27-0, 6 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Patriots kick off. Dave, overall, good defensive effort in the quarter by the Indians, but just broke down at the end.
They just broke down the end. They couldn't stop the run. And then also, Mike Giampapa, a nice pass to Brian Ogden, pick up a key first down on this drive. But DeSico really did a nice job running the ball. And his run, when he was marked out of bounds at the 2-yard line, set up that touchdown by Marston.
Yeah, I think fatigue set in for the Pascack Valley defense. I mean, Wayne Hills just had a long game time of possession. And when you're out there that long, it gets tiring for the defenders, and I think that's just what happened right there.
So now 6 seconds remain here. 27-0. The Patriots in front. Chris Olsen going for his God knows how many victories, Dave. Another milestone every week, it seems. Going for number 34 in a row. Last time they lost, we were 14 years old and we couldn't even have our permit. Kicked off there, taken by number 25, Kevin Rems, up the field to about the 28-yard line. And that's the end of the third quarter as the Patriots lead 27-0. Guys, Aaron Ploshnik's got something with us. I think Steve Lacarica. Aaron, take it away.
Once again, thanks a lot, guys. I'm here with star basketball player Steve Lacarica. Steve, what are your thoughts about the game so far?
You know, I think it's another great game for Wayne Hills. You know, they're trying to put him away. PV's not going down without a fight, but Wayne Hills is doing a great job.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you. Now, you played football the last couple years, but you almost transferred out of here. Thank God we didn't lose you. But how does it feel not to play football this year?
Well, you know, when I'm out here, I just miss it, and I just miss being under the lights and playing out there with all my friends. You know, hopefully Coach Olsen's going to let me back next year, and we could do some big things.
We sure hope so. Well, we know basketball season is coming up real soon, right around the corner. What are your predictions for Wayne Hills this year?
You know, we're looking pretty good, a lot better than the past 2 years. We're older, more experienced. Hopefully, you know, we can make the state playoffs and make some noise in the counties.
Thanks a lot, Steve. All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Aaron, for that interview with the guard for the Wayne Hills Patriots, Steven Lacarica. Dave, pretty touching moment when you found out Lack came back from DePaul.
Definitely, because he's been a great player for the Patriots over the last 2 years. The leading scorer for Wayne Hills last season. They really need him if they want to be successful.
So now it'll be, now after that stop there by the Patriots, it'll be about 2nd and about 13. Great job there by Paul Drake and Ryan Doderno.
As Paul Drake adds to his team-leading sack total. Drake had 2 sacks last week, his first of the night, I believe. I think Drake had 5 sacks coming into this game, but hopefully later in the game we'll get the defensive stats up on the screen for you to look at through the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah, Wayne has been playing great, but I don't know. I think they should loosen up because Pascack Valley coaches up there. I mean, we might get hurt over here.
2nd and 13 for the Indians. Another flag on the play. Could be another false start for the Indians as the referees are discussing the penalty. Is it a false start? Or delay a game actually on Pascack Valley. So it'll be 2nd down and 18 for Pascack Valley.
And right now, nothing is going right for Pascack Valley. I mean, the pass interference call before, which is clearly offensive, but right now, Pascack Valley just got to stick in there, you know, do the best they can.
2nd and 18 for the Indians. A little under 11 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Handoff there to number 45 of the Indians, Josh Kim, and he's going to be stopped for another or about a gain of 0 on the play. So that'll bring up 3rd down for the Indians, and it's desperation time, Dave.
I agree with you, Andrew. The Indians are really not taking enough shots down the field. On 2nd and 18, if you even want a chance to come back in this game, even though the hopes are very dim now for the Indians as an injured player is down on the field. If you want a chance to even score a touchdown, you have to go deep down the field. And Wyzak and Wyzak has really not done that tonight.
Yeah, right now, nothing has gone right for Pascack Valley. I mean, they must be going through some bad luck. I mean, maybe the coaches went through some ladders, maybe walked in front of a black cat. I have no idea, but nothing is going right for them.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. So now, during this injury timeout, I guess we have stuff to talk about. David, yesterday the Knicks scrimmaged Maccabi Tel Aviv, former team for Bob Podhurst, and the Knicks came out and they dominated.
Well, all I can say is it's all about the regular season because they have the highest payroll in the NBA. They have so much talent, especially up front, Eddie Curry and Zach Randolph. It's all about the regular season. Preseason, all the players they bring in, what they have on paper, doesn't matter because at the end of the season, once playoff time comes, if they're not there, then it's a failure. But let's talk about Greg Olson. Last Sunday night, under the lights at Lambeau Field, national TV on NBC, Greg Olson, 4 receptions, 57 yards, including a touchdown catch in the second half for the Bears in their win against the Packers. Guys, talk about Greg Olson's performance.
Phenomenal. I mean, the man on national TV, he's playing in the NFL. He's got talent to begin with. Father, hell of a coach. He gets a touchdown on national TV. Can't ask for more than that. Wyzak back to pass. Throws it down the field. He's got number 8, Jimmy Grieve, wide open. I guess he heard footsteps. And the ball was dropped. So now that was a great opportunity for the Indians as the defense is broken down.
A perfect pass by Wyzak. Grieve just couldn't hold on. That's a catch that Grieve has to make, especially in a 3rd and long situation.
And yeah, I mean, right there, that could have been a big play for the Pascack Valley. And just maybe could have sparked offensive just for rage for them. But nothing big's coming up for them right now.
4th and 18, Wyzak will punt. Line drive, punt, taken at the 49 by Marson. Takes it up the field, spins, tackled there by Justin Merberg. So the Patriots will take over at about, I would say, the 44-yard line.
And going back to the Knicks, I got one person to just point out. Allen Houston is going to bring a championship to the New York Knicks. Just watch.
I prayed to the man upstairs that happens.
Well, Sean, I don't think today is April Fool's Day the last time I checked.
Hey, he's a legend, Dave. It's Allen Houston we're talking about.
Well, all I can say is the San Antonio Spurs are the new dynasty in the NBA. Enough said.
Why don't you just marry the San Antonio Spurs? Giampapa's pass incomplete, intended for Justin Horahan. So that'll bring up a 2nd and about 10 for the Patriots.
As Giampapa has just not been the save tonight, but it would definitely be nice going to next week against Demarest, at Demarest, under the lights. Demarest is 3-2 this year, but if Buenos wins that game, they will basically wrap up NBL Division 1. Demarest, I believe, is the only team that has a chance to catch them for the division crown. But hopefully Mike Giampapa get some continuity for his receivers, work on his accuracy, and get ready for next week.
I mean, this was his off day, and everyone has one. Just let's hope next game he does well.
Jeremiah Kale lined up back quarterback. More flags on the play. I mean, there's been more flags I think there are in the United Nations tonight, and it's ugly. It's ugly.
On that play, besides that the fact that there's another false start penalty on the Patriots, Mike Giampapa was split right on that play, lined up as a wide receiver. What do you think of that, guys?
I mean, just Wayne Hills is pulling out everything right now.
It's like the Jets when they have Pennington line up at wide out and have Brad Smith, the quarterback. I mean, I don't know. You're up 27-0.
If Pennington was at wide receiver, I don't know. Terrible things would happen to the Jets.
Well, they do that sometimes, and he just, like, walks off the field, so he's not really used. Needless to say, they run the same play. Kale runs up the middle, gets to about the line of scrimmage. Good job by Jeremiah to get about a gain of 5 on the play, so it'll bring up 3rd down and 10 for the Patriots.
The Patriots just trying to run down this clock a little bit, control time possession. They're up 27-0. They don't want to give the Indians any chance to possibly get a score in this game. And the Patriots definitely have field position in their favor. So if they fail to pick up the 1st down, the Indians have a long field ahead of them.
And not only Pascack Valley coming back, you don't want any injuries for any of the Wayne Hills players come playoff time.
Patriots hustle to the line due to the play clock ticking down. 2 wide receivers, DeSico in motion. Handoff, speed sweep to DeSico. DeSico runs down the left side. He's got room, makes a nice spin move, and jukes his way into the ground. Touchdown there by number 13, Tommy Cora, the sophomore defensive back for the Pascack Valley Indians. Great run there by DeSico, just tripped up on the wet turf. So now it'll be 1st down for the Patriots.
And it looked to be a face mask as the Pascack Valley Indian tackled Dan DeSico.
Cora saved the touchdown there because DeSico just bursted down the left sideline. Great speed sweep by the Patriots.
Handoff there towards the left side to Carlton Marson. So about a gain of about 5 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Patriots.
So just under 8 minutes here in the 4th quarter as the Patriots inside the 5-yard line. This is where the Patriots usually bring out the jumbo set. DeSico and Marson both had 2 touchdowns apiece tonight as DeSico and Roman in the backfield for the Patriots.
G-Poo handoff there to DeSico. Puts his way up the field. So now it will be 3rd down for the Patriots.
So 3rd and short here for the Patriots at about the 4-yard line as the Patriots don't get a generous spot. I thought DeSico dove ahead to at least the 2 or 3 yard line. But let's see if they bring out the jumbo set or do play action here.
Yeah, with the jumbo set out, I mean, touchdown is highly likely.
So it'll be 3rd down and 4 for the Patriots. Roman and DeSico in the backfield. Fumbled there by Giampapa. And it looks like the Indians have recovered on the play. And it's just really sloppy play tonight, Dave.
As Giampapa couldn't handle the snap from Doyes, and then he tried to dive on the ball, but couldn't come up with it as Pascack Valley recovers. Just an overall sloppy night for the Wayne Hills offense. Even though they have 4 touchdowns, and for most teams, that would be great. But for Wayne Hills, they're striving to be perfect, and they've been anything but perfect tonight on offense. And also, Wayne Hills, they've scored 27 points tonight. That's more than Northern Highlands has scored the whole season.
We have an update of a Group 4 score for you in a moment. Rumor has it, Dave, Clifton's losing the East Side 22-3 at half. What's going on with the Mustangs, the defending North 1 Group 4 state champs?
Well, I really have no idea. Maybe a complacency after winning it all last year. But according to Miles Rudnick, a Montclair Kimberly Academy student and a Clifton resident, he claims that Clifton does not have the quarterback play to compete.
Christian Moreno is just not the answer. I mean,
well, at least their soccer team is doing well.
Yeah, well, that's tomorrow.
Big game.
Boys soccer semifinal. The Wayne Hills Patriots try to take their 8-game winning streak against the Mustangs at the Paul Catholic Alumni Field, dedicated to Jack Gleason, the athletic director who died in 1959. That scoreboard named after him. 3rd down now for the Pascack Valley Indians But Dave, I mean, you could just see how the power has fallen. Ramapo a couple years back would never lose. They're 0-4.
Well, they lost to Fairlawn last week, the first time since the 1995 season. And Ramapo goes to Ramsey tomorrow in an attempt to win their first game. But Ramapo's had so many problems this season.
Wyzek's pass wobbly down the field, incomplete, intended for Rotolo. So with 5 minutes and 18 seconds remaining, Wayne Hills has everything but wrapped up in this ball game.
And that pass play, that previous play, it looked like it was intended for the ref, as he was the only one that looked to be open for that pass.
Paul Drake again, right in Wyzek's face, as Paul Drake has really had a fantastic game tonight.
Wyzek to punt. Punted to DeSico. Taken at about the 46-yard line. Great block there by Joey Volpe as he just destroyed number 42, Kyle Mills. Unbelievable block.
A huge block there by Joey Volpe as Volpe gets congrats from Wally World on the sideline. I talked to Joe Volpe today after school. He comes up to me. He's like, David, I really want to make a big play so I could get my props on TV tonight. And Joe Volpe, you just got the credit that you deserve tonight for that great block leading the way for DeSico.
And Tom Jackson on NFL Live would be ecstatic on that play.
Toss from Quinn to Kirk. Gives it about a gain of 2 yards. So now the backups are in, Dave. This game's all but over.
You know that the game is in the Patriots' back pocket when the second-team offense comes into the game as Mark Kirk and Mike Quinn into the game for the Patriots. Hugo Obulo also into the game for the Patriots at wide receiver.
Justin Horahan as well back in the game for the Patriots. I formation for the Patriots. Toss to Kirk to the left side as Kirk gets stumbled back a couple yards by Pascack Valley by number 17. There's no 17 on the roster.
So let's talk about Wayne Hills next week playing at Demarest. What should we expect next week?
Dave, I mean, they've played Demarest these past 2 seasons, and there's been such a dramatic turnaround from the Demarest team we saw back in 2004 when they ran to the North 1 Group 3 state championship against these Wayne Hills Patriots. The talent level has definitely sunk in that township.
Well, I have to give credit to Demarest because they're off to a nice start this year, especially on defense. And they're without their starting running back, Keith Esposito, who's out for the season. So they've suffered some major injuries on offense the last 2 years.
Quinn drops back the pass, throws it down the field, and it's going to be incomplete. I guess he slipped, but I don't know.
I thought that pass might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage by number 70. I'm not sure, as that pass was intended for another sophomore, Matt the Block. So some of the sophomores getting in here for the Patriots.
That also could have been a problem with the nerves. I mean, this is one of his first times in the game, and just nervousness getting to him.
So now DeSico to punt for the Patriots. 3:27 remaining in the ball game. High snap there. DeSico's punt down the field. And a punishing hit there by number 44, Mike Roman. Roman, a great man, but a greater hit.
Mike Roman really laid out the hit stick on that one as the returner for the Indians just got absolutely rocked there by Mike Roman. And Mike Roman is pretty notorious for these big hits because last year in the opening quarter for the Patriots in the Northern Group 3 state championship game against Parsippany Hills, he had a huge hit on a third down play.
Yeah, Roman is just a beast when he comes full speed at you. I mean, if Roman was coming full speed at me, I'd run as fast as I can, as far away as I can.
He's a great man.
Well, the ball carrier for Pascack Valley on that hit will definitely feel it tomorrow when he wakes up.
First team defense, for the most part, still in there for the Patriots. A little bit second team, a little bit, they're all mixed up. So now it'll be 2:46 remaining here, second down for the Indians. Time winding down. This game's all but wrapped up.
So, guys, let's talk about some other key NBAL matchups. Northern Highlands plays at Mawa. Mawa, probably the second best team in the NBAL behind Wayne Hills, but that's yet to be determined as Mawa will play at Old Japan on November 3rd. That will be a huge game determining power points. Also, temporary lights will be installed at Bergenfield tomorrow night as Demers travels to Bergenfield.
That's like a 5-minute drive, so not much of a travel there. Another run up the middle for about nothing. So I bring up third down for the Indians.
And also, Old Japan looking to get back on the winning track tonight in Oakland, New Jersey, and sweep the Ramapo Valley as they beat Ramapo earlier in the year. And tonight, they're playing against Indian Hills team, and Indian Hills coming off a bye.
So now it'll be 3rd and 12 for the Indians. So now, Wizek will lead his troops to the line. '18 goes in motion. That's Parenta. Actually, Cora's at quarterback. He throws it down the field. Incomplete. Tommy Cora entered the game as quarterback. I was not aware. 1:16 remaining in the ball game. 27-0. Now the 4th down will come up. This is all but it.
Yeah, the Patriots had this game wrapped up, and you have to give credit to the defensive line. Did a fabulous job shutting down Kevin Rems. Rems had 3 touchdowns last week against Bergenfield. Didn't even come close to sniffing in the end zone tonight.
Yeah, and Pascack Valley's got to go back and look at the films and see what's going on with them. I mean, nothing has worked for them, even from the start of the game, and they just got to figure out what's their problem right now.
So now it'll be 4th down and 12. The Indians will punt. DeSico and Marson back to return the punt. High spiraling punt down the sideline. It'll be knocked down at the 31-yard line. So 1:07 remaining. You can only see Niels here, Dave.
Yeah, the Patriots just going to run this clock out as the Patriots are 1 minute and 7 seconds away from their 34th straight win. The streak started back on November 6th at Ramsey, and it's continued until today. It's just an incredible accomplishment by this Wayne Hills team.
And Dave, to remember that date is just incredible.
Hand off there to Kirk. Up the middle. Kirk trying to find room to run. Good run there by Mark Kirk, about 9-yard gain. This clock ticks down.
I guess the Patriots didn't take a kneel there only because Pascack Valley still has all 3 timeouts left. But I don't see any reason why the Indians would even think of calling a timeout to stop the clock. The Indians probably just want to get out of here and avoid all the traffic going to Outback after the game.
Call me. Quinn, I formation, 36 seconds remain. Hand up the middle to Kirk. Bounces it out to the outside as it'll be a loss. So as the clock still kicks down, 26 seconds remain in the ball game.
So next week at Demers, Wayne Hills really needs to work on their offensive line play. They have to do a better job protecting Mike G and Papa. But we have to give credit to Dan DeSico and Carlton Marson. They really upped the ante tonight, and they both had a great performance despite the woes on the offensive line.
And that is it, folks. The final score from Patriot Stadium. The Wayne Hills Patriots defeat the Pascack Valley Indians 27-0, number 34 in a row. Guys, Dan DeSico had a great night for the Patriots.
No doubt about it. DeSico really set the tempo from the get-go. The 66-yard touchdown run, scoring runs of 66 and 4 tonight for the Patriots. Carlton Marson also bringing the thunder on all sides of the ball tonight. He set the tone on defense early with the interception. I know he had a fumble earlier in the first quarter, but he made up for it with 2 rushing touchdowns. And the defensive line, I can't give them enough praise because they have just been off the charts the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, even though there are a lot of kinks in the Wayne Hills offensive line, I mean, the defense is what kept them in this game and kept the shutout going for them. And Olsen's got to go back to the tapes and see what his offensive line was doing. But all around, great game for both the running backs of Carlton Marson, Dan DeSico, and the great defensive play. And Wayne Hills is just on a roll.
Guys, the one thing, though, that could be a trouble, the offensive line was pushed around tonight greatly. You saw Mike Giampapa was getting bullied out there. The poor kid had no time to throw the ball. That's very uncharacteristic of him because usually he has all the time in the world. What was wrong with this offensive line and what did they have to do to correct it for the future?
Well, it's tough because Nico Stevens got hurt in the first game. He's out for the year, so the Patriots can't count on him the rest of the year. But I think it's the fact that they're playing against better teams. Northern Highlands was really not much competition to the Patriots. But the last 3 weeks, this team has really been tested, and they've responded. So I think if the offensive line could really improve, tighten up the blocking, especially in pass protection more than anything else, because Mike Giampapa had no time to throw the ball, but if they could tighten up in pass protection, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, for the Wayne Hills team, the only problem right now is the offensive line, and if they could fix that up, they'll be fine, and another state championship will be in the future for the Wayne Hills.
Well said, Sean. Well said, David. For everybody here at Patriot Stadium, I'm Andrew Gayo. Take a look at the credits. They're gorgeous. Thank you to the crew. Have a great night, everybody.